Vikings preseason football is presented by Miller Lite. It's not just a good time, it's Miller time. By Verizon, America's largest 4G LTE network. By Nissan, save on select models at choosenissan.com. And by the Minnesota State Fair, August 22nd through Labor Day.
And welcome back to Mall of America Field. Pete Bursich and Paul Allen behind the Vikings bench for the first preseason game. On the sidelines, 10-year National Football League veteran Ben Lieber.
Thanks a lot, guys. Hey, I'm really curious today to see Josh Robinson. Can he be the guy to replace Antoine Winfield, who, in my estimation, is pound for pound the best defensive player that I've ever played against? So it'll be interesting to see what he can do tonight. Greg Coleman, what do you got?
Well, there are a lot of people concerned about the sophomore slump of place kicker Blair Walsh. No need to worry about number 3. All eyes will be on Jeff Locke, the new rookie punter and holder, replacing the longtime veteran Chris Clue, who did an outstanding job as a holder. So now all eyes will be locked on Locks. PA, back upstairs to you.
Thank you, Greg. We're going to kick off the preseason against the Houston Texans. Then next week we go to Buffalo to take on the Bills. Expect the starters, the more significant players for Leslie Frazier's Minnesota Vikings to play the first quarter next week. Then the Sunday after that we go to San Francisco for the ever-important third preseason game. That'll be against one of the best in the NFL, the San Francisco 49ers. They're the Ponders and maybe even the Adrian Petersons, the MVP of the NFL. They will play into the third quarter. Then we shut it down in this building, final season Mall of America Field against the Tennessee Titans. The Minnesota Vikings will get the ball first. Kicking off for the Houston Texans is Randy Bullock, a second-year. The potentially electrifying Cordero Patterson, the final of 3 first-round picks by the Minnesota Vikings. They had to trade up to get him, traded with Belichick and the New England Patriots. We take Sharif Floyd. You'll see him this evening. Xavier Rhodes, you will not see him this evening. Xavier Rhodes is a little nicked up from training camp. He will not play tonight. Cordero Patterson, the rookie from Tennessee, had 24 kick returns in his only season in the SEC at Tennessee, averaged nearly 28 yards per return. He had a 98-yard kickoff return while playing for the Volunteers. The Texans wearing their white with blue pants trimmed in red. The Vikings with their new purple uniforms, their new numbers, and a new player set to retrieve the kick. It's Cordero Patterson. The preseason is about set to be underway, and boom! There's the kick, and it may be retrievable by Patterson. Here he comes, 5 yards deep in the end zone, right hash. He heads to the 5, to the 10, to the 15. He scoots clear at the 20, to the 25, to the 30. Angles to the left, and he's taken down at the 45-yard line. It is a 50-yard return for rookie Cordero Patterson.
And that's exactly what he needed to do, is come out and make plays. And for a young player, this is where you can make your biggest and fastest contribution. You see him. He has the moves. He comes up inside. Great blocking up front. Now all he has to do is make a move on that kicker. You can't let that guy trip you up, Paul. He was almost gone.
Christian Ponder, the third-year quarterback from Florida State. Last year, Christian Ponder amassed 18 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. He started every regular season game. He'll work out of the shotgun 1st and 10 from his own 45. He takes the snap, steps up in the pocket, zips it to the right, and it's caught. It's caught by Jerome Simpson in Texans territory to the 45-yard line, and Christian Ponder starts out 1 of 1, a 16-yard connection, and a Vikings first down. That looked great because Jerome Simpson was counted on for much last year after a 3-game suspension. He had a wonderful game at Ford Field, but then a damaged foot.
Yeah, and the foot had been a problem for him all season, and it's amazing how he's fought to come back, and that's the kind of route exactly we talked about earlier, Paul. The timing route, the curls, take advantage of that one-on-one on the outside.
It's 1st and 10 for the Vikings. Greg Jennings slot left. Ponder back to pass, fires right, and it's intercepted by the Houston Texans off the fingertips of Jerome Simpson. Christian fired right, went off the hands of Simpson, and the Texans have turned over the Vikings on the second play of the preseason. Texans ball against the Vikings defense. It's no score. This is Vikings football.
Welcome back to Minneapolis. The scoreboard this quarter all brought to you by Hyundai. So Shiloh Keough coming up with the big play on the defensive side. He's 3rd year out of Idaho and getting the start due to the injury, and they're waiting for Ed Reed.
Well, we've seen him make a contribution to this team as a mid-season appointment as a team captain on special teams. Now, from scrimmage, showing you he can play center field. We talked about the weakness this team has at that position. They need help.
Matt Shaw, probably a series, maybe two. The completion out toward the boundary. It goes to Lestar Jean, doing good things in the preseason. Now can he stay healthy? Matt Schaub, as you see the back of us here in the booth. Matt Schaub,
You look good.
throwing for better than 4,000 yards last year. And now, in his 6th year, 6 seasons as a Texan. On the flare, it's Ben Tate. First down yardage breaking the tackle. So Ben Tate, a lot of snaps early in the game. Then we'll see that Dennis Johnson, the young man we had talked about. But with the numbers for Matt Schaub, impressive last year. It was a little bit of a staggering finish, though, to say the least, over the last 4 weeks of the regular season.
Well, one of the things he tells he wants to do when they get to the red area, be more efficient as a team, and a quarterback play in particular will be a key to that efficiency down there. Number 8, the cog for this offense.
On a first down for the 49. He bunches 3 on the wide side. Good grab. Lestar Jean putting the hands out there. You like to see that, Spencer, from a wide receiver, really taking it away so the body doesn't even come into the equation.
That's right, Joel. He's been here long enough now, and the coaches want him to start paying off. Got a great body, not particularly fast, but he's got great hands and great range, and that's what Matt Schaub or any quarterback in the National Football League would like. A big-bodied guy that can get in between defenders and go up and make a play like that. And Lestar Jean needs to put a couple of them together.
It's Ben Tate down to the 35. I mentioned Schaub 6 seasons. It's actually 7 years now in this start tonight, starting his 7th season. And our starting lineup, all brought to you by your local Ford dealers. A lot of all-pros, pro bowlers on the front with Brown, Myers, Brooks, Newton, Ben Jones getting the start. Up front, over to the left side for Wade Smith. Ben Tate, Klutz, starting for Greg Jones in the backfield with Keyshawn Martin, Garrett Graham, and DeAndre. Little Dre, Big Dre. Andre Johnson is not going to suit up tonight. Dennis Johnson to the backfield, first carry. Trying to break tackles, spinning for a couple inside the 35 down to the 33.
And you can see the quickness and the burst inside. He is a one-gap guy. We talk about slow to and fast through. Number 28 is fast to, burner through that hole, and that's exactly what Gary Kubiak wants. Watch this kid rack up a lot of yards at Arkansas. Let me tell you, if he can stay healthy, he's going to contribute this team in a big way.
So we saw the overall numbers for Matt Schaub last season. In his 6 years, he's hit 64%. 7th in the league history. And completion percentage, average of 261 a game. Done a lot of things well. Now can he finish it off? It's out on the wing, and it's complete. Taken in by DeAndre Hopkins. He's belted right away at the 30. Short of the first down by about 3. So Randy Bullock right away getting an opportunity early.
Well, DeAndre Jr. is going to get an opportunity to make plays like that as the season progresses. He's talented. He's got good hands, you can see, but he's got to get those shoulders upfield and get vertical to get that first down.
It is going to be a 48-yard punt or a kick for Randy Bullock out of the hold, and I was looking at the punter, Shane Leckler. Clean exchange. It's down. It's on its way. And with room to spare, a 3-0 lead on the 48-yarder by Bullock. So that'll get some of that nervous energy and the butterflies out of the way for the former Aggies. We look at another Aggie on the sideline, Gary Kubiak, and 3 off the turnover for the Texans. Welcome back to the Metrodome. Get a good look because they won't be here next year at this time. Texans on a 48-yard field goal by Randy Bullock, up by 3, 4 minutes into the game as we head downstairs to Greg Bailey. Greg?
All right, Joel, Houston Texans 2013 season tickets all but sold out, but a few luxury suites remain. Call 832-667-2160 to learn more about Texan suites and to schedule a tour. 832-667-2160, an experience you'll never forget. Joel?
All righty. Cordero Patterson waiting back deep, and he can stand back there because that's what the Texans need more of. That's what you like to see. No return at all.
That'll prevent those big gashes coming out of play. Joe Marciano, the special teams coach, certainly didn't like that. Bullock did a great job of making that a non-possibility just by kicking it out of the end zone.
So an impressive start for Randy Bullock. Sat out last season. Remember, Randy Bullock got hurt making a tackle during the preseason.
Yeah, and he really needs to shine again. Pretty much that whole class from last year, Joel, not one of them made a significant impact at this team, and that's a tough spot, particularly him.
Matt Castle, the former Kansas City Chief the last 4 years, gives it off. It goes to Toby Gerhart, the former Stanford Cardinal. up the middle for about 3. Castle, don't forget, was a Pro Bowler in 2010 with Kansas City. Helped them get the postseason, by far his best year as a pro, with 27 touchdowns and only 7 interceptions. And this is the guy, Matt Castle, don't forget. He backed up Matt Leinart, Carson Palmer. He wasn't a starter at USC. He was a starter once he got to Kansas City. Started his career with 3 seasons with the New England Patriots. And underneath it goes. And diving for the first down is Jerome Felton. The fullback came over as a free agent last year. And a Pro Bowler in his first season with Minnesota out of Furman. And defensively, for the Texans, all brought to you by your local Ford dealers, Crick, Mitchell, and Jameson. In the 3-4 alignment for Wade Phillips. Jesse's boy, Justin Tuggle, Daryl Sharpton. Good to see Daryl healthy again. Joe Mays getting the start with Brooks Reed. Jackson and McCain in the corners with Daniel Manning and Shiloh Keogh in the secondary at safety. So first down, out to the 31. Nice play. Gerhardt will not get away. Good play up the middle.
Earl Mitchell, great job of penetrating. That will kill any play. You can see him dart inside number 92. Earl Mitchell shed and release, pushed on the other side of the ball. That's how you play in the offense's backfield. That will disrupt the timing of any play. Moving laterally for a big man, excellent play to stall this drive.
The loss is Mitchell. It is 4th year out of Arizona. Pressure from the outside. Castle can't get away. They pushed Castle up into the middle of the pocket. Mitchell gets the sack, but give credit on the outside.
Well, the pressure came from the outside, but Mitchell working the games in the deal. Watch the linebackers and defensive ends cross paths. That switch right there is tough on an offensive lineman. Mitchell stays active, up and alert, moves laterally, and you can see Bullock putting pressure here to up the middle. There he is, Tuggle on the other side. Tremendous defense right there. Team defense, swarming, staying alive, making a good play on a pretty good offensive unit.
Yeah, not a bad speed rush on the outside by Brooks Reed to push him up into the pocket. Castle now in 3rd and about 15 with too much time. Over the middle, it's available. He's got a first down. Stopping on a dime, the completion goes to Stephen Burton, and a big play down the sideline as Burton is popped out of bounds finally. Knocked out by Bryce McCain. But boy, that pivot was a good-looking one by the 3rd-year wide receiver out of West Texas A&M.
You know, they attacked Bryce McCain on the first play from scrimmage. Now you see him playing catch. Bryce trying to put a hand on his hip pocket there, but slips down and can't recover. And now you got Daniel Manning in his hip pocket. He's got some speed to get to the outside. Bryce trying to recover to get him to the outbound. Nice job of recovering, but you got to keep your feet to make the play in the first place.
They convert on a 3rd and 15. These two teams got together, don't forget, the end of last season, second to last week of the season. Had a forgettable one for the Texans, losing that game at Reliant. Little misdirection action to the backfield as Gerhardt plugs it straight up the gut and gets good yardage, about 7 on first down.
Yeah, Toby's a baller inside out of Stanford, but I'll tell you, Earl Mitchell is quite active in the middle of that defensive unit. Again, he is flashing some big-time skill, and that's what this team needs. You know, a lot of pressure on 99 when he's starting. Of course, J.J. Watt not in this game today, suiting up. Don't need him, but you need somebody else to show teams on the film that they can make plays as well. 1st and 10
line this quarter is all brought to you by Verizon. It's a 2nd and call it close to 4. Castle out of the gun. Nice. Pocket started to collapse, and a resourceful one goes to the tight end, and it's complete to John Carlson out of Notre Dame in his 5th season for a 1st and goal to the 2.
Yeah, the Texans played that play about as technically sound as you could, but again, the quarterback did a fine job of finding the void in the defense. You can only cover so many up. You can zone protection on the back end. Texans got to do a better job of closing and staying in close proximity to the receiver, but technically sound with the Texans.
To remind you, Texans 7th overall defensively last year. Brian Cushing not in the lineup tonight. Neither is J.J. Watt. Scratch Antonio Smith, so many of the regulars out. As Burton goes in motion. There's Mitchell again, straight up. He found a gap. It's a loss. Back to the 4, almost the 5, a loss of about 3 yards.
Yeah, that's 4 tackles now already for Mitchell, and we aren't even a quarter way through the first quarter. This guy is showing me something right now, And that this defensive line is going to be much better. The more productive he is, the more risks Wade Phillips, the defensive coordinator, will take with gaming and dealing in blitzes if he can create that kind of disruption.
He just drove back the right guard, Travis Bond, the rookie out of North Carolina. Their 7th round pick. Took advantage of him.
That's good football there, Joe.
It'll be 2nd and goal, just inside the 5. Castle in trouble again. And corner of the end zone, a little bit too tall. Trying to get it to Cordero Patterson.
Patterson wouldn't have had enough real estate anyway, but I think that pressure, as we look at Kareem Jackson, their starter, who's made tremendous gains in his starter role at cornerback, just the pressure, the consistent pressure from the Texans up front disrupted that pass, through the timing off a little bit too long for the receiver to make a play.
Is the 10th play of the drive for Minnesota. It started back at their own 20. They converted on a 3rd and 15 on the 62-yard pass to Stephen Burt, and now set it up on 3rd and goal inside the 5.
Switch route.
And wide of the intended target, Asiata, the fullback out of Utah.
Yeah.
But the pressure got to Castle. That was off rhythm from the beginning.
They tried to isolate Asiata to the wide side of the field and went with a trip formation. You can see again the eyes upfield, and then he's coming back to Asiata right now. You got pressure in him. That's Willie Jefferson on the outside. He's been flashing big time in camp. Converted wide receiver playing outside, going to give Wade Phillips, as you look at him here, some more tools to work from the outside.
Blair Walsh, a sensational rookie from last season, now getting ready for his 2nd year as a pro, and he was nothing but perfect last year, 35 of 38. He ties it with a 22-yard field goal as we're all even at 3, just about 10 minutes into the game. At 3 with 5:50 left in the opening 15 minutes of the preseason. Well, game day. We know all of you Texan fans geared up, ready to see the Texans take the field, and especially at Reliance. So we want to see your smiling faces. Email us your best game day photos right now. Go to fanpics at HoustonTexans.com. And throughout the course of the contest tonight, we are going to be sending out your favorite photos. So stay tuned to see the make air and get those fan pics in at HoustonTexans.com. Texans traveling well. Well, 12-4 will do that for you.
I'll tell you what, success cures a lot. And this Texans team has been on a steady incline since Gary Kubiak got here, turning it around, put them in the win column more often than not. And it's been fun to watch.
Dennis Johnson waits for the kick from Blair Walsh. Good to have you with us at the Metrodome in Minneapolis tonight. And as much as Johnson wants to bring it back in his professional debut, he'll have to wait. It'll come out to the 20 on the touchback. Yeah. It'll be the Texans and TJ Yates getting it back when we return to Minneapolis. Scoreboard this quarter all brought to you by Hyundai. And welcome back once again, Joel Myers, Spencer Tillman, Greg Bailey. Good to have you with us on the Texans television network as TJ Yates takes over. Matt Schaub in there for 1 series tonight. And Schaub a perfect 5 for 5 for 34 yards in receptions. TJ Yates getting ready for his 3rd year out of North Carolina, 5th round pick in 2011 for the Texans. Man, he's got Dennis Johnson on a play fake. Little dump off to Garrett Graham to tie it in. It's a chop block and a first down across the 30 out to the 33. Good job downfield by Cody White.
Executing there. And you know, one of the things we want to be looking at is Dennis Johnson, number 28, how he does on pass protection. You can see the linebacker coming up. Look at him put that little body right in the chest of that oncoming linebacker. Number 28 is short, about 5'8", and I'm being generous, but he is not small. He's about 205, built up like a muscle man. He's tough.
It was actually Derek Newton down there as we saw the replay. Derek on the back of Johnson, but he got away enough so they didn't lose 4 yards. They lost a couple of yards, and he's brought down by Sharif Floyd.
You know, they pay the defense a lot of money to stop an offense from doing what they do best, and sometimes it's about minimizing the damage. You know, number 28 did a great job of just getting back to the line of scrimmage on that play.
Floyd, the rookie out of Florida, is their 1st round pick, 23rd overall, 1st and 10 line, all brought to you by Verizon. It'll be 2nd and long. Double up on the wide side and underneath, right through the hands, a little bit tall for Keyshawn Martin.
And that ball was hot. TJ put a little bit mustard on it. A little switch route, twins formation to the left side of the field, a little bit too high. But Keyshawn's got to be able to catch those balls. You know, he had some problems last year a little bit with execution. Great practice player, but he's got to be a little bit more consistent from scrimmage.
T.J. Yates told us yesterday as we spent time with him, Spencer, last year was real tough. He's been a starter his whole career, so then he spoiled his first season due to the injury to Matt Schaub.
One thing you can never take away from him, he still has the first playoff victory in franchise history. He led this team to it.
And then he had to sit with a clipboard for all 16 last year. Too tall again. That time Graham could only get one paw up there on third and about a dozen.
One of the things that Gary told you and I just last night was continuity is what he's looking for from this team. And you can expect that. TJ's chomping at the bit a little bit. It's been a while. Matt stayed vertical all up last year, so he didn't get a chance to get on the field at TJ Yates. But now he's come out a little bit aggressive, a little high pass, a little heat on another one that Keyshawn missed.
Shane Leckler out of A&M. A lot of Aggies out there tonight. Sends out a beauty. Marcus Sherrills backpedals. He'll take it to the 10.
Nice job.
Got away from Keogh, but that'll do it. Across the 15. Out to about the 18. So good coverage. Only a 3-yard return. Eddie Pleasant, one of the first ones down there after the 58-yard punt. We're tied at 3. Offense off the field after one first down. And 12 yards with T.J. Yates at the controls. Well, all throughout this evening's game, we're going to be checking Twitter to see what the fans are talking about regarding the Texans. So use your hashtag Texans Preseason. That's hashtag Texans Preseason. You could see your tweet on the TV screen later tonight. And make sure you follow the Texans on Twitter at Houston Texans for all the latest news, behind-the-scenes photos, everything about the Texans. Castle stays on the field. Dan's into the pocket. Dan almost taken away. We've been talking about how impressive Willie Jefferson, and I like the comparison that Gary Kubiak made. He said he's a rangy, long-arm guy, and I'm not going to say he's Jason Taylor, but he kind of reminds me of Jason Taylor, the former Dolphin.
Well, he's a converted wide receiver, and it's rare that you see a guy with that kind of temperament, but as you see, the long levers, the long arms, and athleticism, he is an absolute nightmare for defenders or offenders trying to block him in practice. It's unbelievable. If he ever finds a way to combine more than one move, he's going to be lethal on the outside.
Got to get rid of that number. That number's a nightmare. 63? How many 63s do you remember? Okay. Castle, and it's out of bounds. Good shove over on that side by Rock Carmichael. Once he went into the air, pushed him out of bounds. Not college ball. And
it's not Bula Bula?
Cordero Patterson thought he had another reception. Well, DJ Swearinger on for his first series, and he is a playmaker.
Yeah, look for a lot of single coverage with him in the game. It looks like they're playing too deep on this particular play, but he's got the range to own that backfield himself if he wants to. He's that good.
It's 3rd and 10 at the 17. Time over the middle. And Patterson's got Patterson's got another. Breaking tackles and brought down finally by Swearinger. But still, we're working the middle of the field regularly between the hash marks.
Well, that wasn't DJ's responsibility, but you can see he's around the ball present. Shiloh is in the middle of the field. They throw it on a nice little in route. Got not enough bodies around it, but again, you got to make that play. And you can see the isolation player. He's got great form, recognition. Now close on the ball to make a play. Trying to get the ball out of there. He's a playmaker. He wants to do it, be around the ball early and often. That's Swearinger.
Rock Carmichael trying to track him. 4th round pick in 2011 on Virginia Tech. It's a first down on 3rd and 10. And out of the backfield, off the right side, it's going to be Asiata. Played in every game last year. A guy that made it on this squad that wasn't drafted out of Utah. 5'11", 220 pounds. Swearinger over there.
Yeah, you're going to see Swearinger playing into the boundary and also closer to the line of scrimmage. He's a box player if you want him to be, but he also flashes corner skills. And all that means he's able to play tough against the run, but he's able to run and show corner athleticism as well. That gives you flexibility if you're a defensive coordinator.
He's out of Greenwood, South Carolina. Not far from Greenville. Right down the street from the Clemson campus. Here comes the heat on Castle. He's hit as he releases it, and it's intercepted. Picked off, and coming up with it for the Texans. On the interception, it's Eddie Pleasant.
And see, Joe, this is what we talk about. When you're able to play a single safety look, guess where that extra body is? Around the line of scrimmage. Pleasant is down in coverage. The center field being covered by Swearinger back there by himself. That means the Texans have outnumbered the offense. The Vikings don't have an answer for it. Pressure throws it into a waiting hands of the defender. Turnover Texans.
So he's trying to get it to his tight end Carlson once again. And a first down plus territories the Texans are going to have it at the Vikings 49. Yates on a play fake. Middle of the field on a comeback, and it's batted right back into his face.
And he had Keyshawn, too, on a little 12, 15-yard stop route there. But, again, they're getting their hands up in there, trying to make it tough on TJ.
Yes, you talked about it. So much of their reads and progression is tied into the footwork. It's all about the timing and the rhythm.
And he said that can make playing the position easier. But, again, nothing can trump a big hand in your face to disrupt that timing and rhythm.
Yates 1 for 4 to start. Has Graham in motion. Dennis Johnson breaking a tackle. Look at the little guy go for a first down to the 35. So Dennis Johnson, one of the great stories in camp, and showing you why. The rookie from Arkansas.
Speed, balance. You know, the guy has got great speed. 4.4, legitimate 4.4, but those feet are quick into the ground. The little pitter-patter, it helps his balance. You can see he can shed guys trying to make tackles on him. Got his feet crossed over there. He needs to cut on that outside foot and plant it, but I guarantee you, he is aware. You see him seat that ball in the opposite hand from the defender. This is an all-around player, Joe.
First down inside the 36. It'll be Johnson again. Nothing available that time. One thing T.J. Yates emphasized to us yesterday, though, was that he wanted to see the second unit run the ball better. He said when the seconds came on last year during the preseason, it kind of stopped the ground game.
Yeah, and I can understand why he would want to do that because, again, that's going to open up the passing game for a backup quarterback. If you can stretch the field, passing the ball is going to be a result of an effective run game. So you got to test him early, see if you guys got that rhythm.
Johnson stays in the game as the single. On a short count, quick count. Yates looking for Johnson, and now he's on his way down.
Well, that's a coverage sack there. Everybody covered up by the Vikings on that particular play. Give him credit. Deep safety had two guys back there. The linebacker had the back covered out of the backfield, and that's just a classic cover sack.
Christian Ballard gets credit. The third-year man out of Iowa was taken to the 4th round in 2011. So it's going to be 3rd and long. Loss of 4 on the sack. And can they get enough for a bullet field goal attempt if they can't get the first down? 5 in the pattern. Yeah, little flanker screen, little bubble action. Graham helped them, but there was too much pursuit. DeAndre Hopkins on the reception.
Yeah, DeAndre, one of the things he's going to discover in the National Football League, everybody can run. This isn't Bula Bula. This isn't Clemson. Had a lot of weapons on that offense. Defenders here, including linebackers, can run and pivot and turn with you for a short distance. You may be able to outrun them, but in short, particularly into the boundary, the short side of the field, a lot of bodies in that narrow space. He's got to get vertical.
Andrew Shapiro's on. Trying to punt it out of bounds. End over end. Iowa inside the 10. McCain couldn't get it. It's batted back. Outstanding effort. Big time job by Bouye. So A.J. Bouye trying to make it. Special teams are going to be reason you can make it if you're on the bubble. And Bouye got it done right around the goal line. End of the first quarter, it's tied at 3 on the Texans television network. We'll continue from Minneapolis after these messages.
To buy Royal Purple, the performance oil that outperforms. Whataburger, just like you like it. By Bud Light, it's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go.
Beautiful night in downtown Minneapolis. Boy, they've been blessed with perfect weather. I mean, the high today was what, around 75, 77?
Was it that warm? I thought it was closer to around 70.
Yeah, and if you like to play golf, it's light till about, because you're far enough north, it's light till about 9 o'clock at night.
And it's that way all day long.
Let's play 36. Welcome back to the Metrodome. Joel Myers, Spencer Tillman, Greg Bailey. Down the Texans, tied at 3. Couldn't capitalize on that pick by Eddie Pleasant. Now 1 first down. And then the sack by Ballard knocked him out of field goal range. Good job by Andrew Shapiro, though, on the punt. Castle back in there. It's his tight end. And complete across the 10 out to the 12. John Carlson has been a favorite of his already in this game in his 5th year out of Notre Dame. Free agent last year from Seattle.
Yeah, Texans brought pressure off that side. As we look at Pleasant, it was Justin Tuggle came off that right side, but they caught it. Did the Vikings. Great job of reading the blitz on that. Actually, it was a pressure.
We just saw Jared Crick coming off a solid first year with the Texans.
Former Nebraska Cornhusker.
They motion out. Jerry is right. Go the other way. Short of first down by about a half a yard.
Chase Patterson was in his hip pocket on that play, made a tremendous play and closed on it.
So you're going to see a lot of players with a lot of opportunities, and that's what Gary Kubiak told us earlier this week. That's a lot of fun for him, is that all the young guys, the free agents, the draft choices, this is their game more than any other game in the preseason. And then the bubble guys, of course, game 4, but second game, get ready for the third, where the starters will play a half.
I think it's a lot of confidence when you see so many starters that didn't start and play this game. It speaks to the confidence what Gary thinks his team is.
They pick up the blitz, and over the middle again, it's Patterson complete for the first down as he's pulled down from behind by Jonathan Joseph. They picked up that blitz up the middle, though.
The Texans playing off coverage here, facing the quarterback, little soft cushion there. Got to close quickly versus that zone. It's a great job of reading it, first of all, by the quarterback. And again, they're able to close and make a great play. Texans just got beat on that play.
Man, make it Bouye, 34, not 24, Joseph. The rookie out of Central Florida was second team All-Conference USA last year. Asiata altering his route. Had a good run. Stop and start again for about 4, almost 5. We'll watch for Spencer Tillman's rising star of the game, all powered by Royal Purple. Be announced by Spencer during the fourth quarter. It's your chance to win 2 Houston Texans VIP tickets to a Texans regular season game. So stay with us. Texans rising star of the game, all sponsored by Royal Purple. It'll be 2nd and 5, close to the 44. Castle out in the flat. Bent, breaking the tackle is Zach Line out of SMU. Look out. Man, he's going to break it for a score. He did a lot of that for the Mustangs of June Jones. Second all-time leading rusher there behind only Eric Dickerson. And a guy, if you're looking for a free agent to make a squad, at least the practice squad, Zach Line.
Well, here's a rookie mistake here. You're going to see they have him playing down in box. DJ puts his head down. You got to put that grill, that face mask across the body to make a sure-handed play. This is the National Football League. As good as the SEC was, it can't touch the National Football League. You got to make a sure play there. It's going to cost you 6 points, 7 ultimately after the point after. See how he reacts. He's got to shake that one off, because I tell you, that can stay with a rookie player despite being a guy who has tremendous confidence.
Blair Walsh, that was a 96-yard drive. Puts it through out of the hole of his new punter, Jeff Locke. And there's a time out of the field. So a stunning 61-yard pass that traveled just about 5 yards. It looked good in the box score for Zach Line in Minnesota, though. We welcome you back once again to Minneapolis, and the scoreboard this quarter is all brought to you by HEB. A 10-3 lead after the long catch and run. I emphasize long run by Zach Line. Our power stats brought to you by Reliant. They couldn't do anything and get points out of that second pick, though, and that's the key, capitalizing on your opponent's mistakes. So down 10-3, it'll be Dennis Johnson, running back out of Arkansas, altering his path. Okay. Not much available, only out to the 15-yard line. So the Texans, after starting with it in Viking territory the last time, the other extreme now. TJ Yates will have it for his 3rd series, back at his own 15. So sluggish for the seconds on the offensive unit. And let's see if it turns around a little bit, especially for Dennis Johnson, a guy that when he went to Arkansas, he wasn't doing kick returns at first. They asked him and he said, well, not necessarily. If you want me to, I'll try. But then he became their all-time leader in kick returns. Johnson belted to the backfield. He didn't have a prayer on that. And coming off the edge to make the play for Minnesota, it was Mr. Al Raymond.
Yeah, Raymond did a great job of knifing in there, and Dennis didn't have a shot. Just to pick up on where you talked about a minute ago, one of the reasons why he didn't put up huge numbers, he was playing behind Nile Davis. Nile was a pretty big-time back. You know, had great skill set, but got hurt. And every time they inserted Johnson in there, 600 yards one year in about 5 games, 720 yards another year, he was ready. He could have been 1,000 or more yard rusher if he had been in that lineup every single down.
Throw it on second down. It'll be complete. Hopkins has it. Good yardage as we head downstairs to Greg Bailey. Greg?
Joel, it's interesting. Class is in session on this Texans bench right now. DJ Swearinger getting a lot of attention, not from the coaching staff, but the veterans led by Daniel Manning. They're encouraging him, not berating him at all one bit. They know he's a good player, and DJ is telling them, I know the mistake I made. I'll do better next time. An interesting phase. Lesson number 1 for DJ in the NFL.
All right, Greg, and he told us yesterday every time he comes off the field in practice, Ed Reed is in his ear as well, helping him out. It's third and a little less than 2. Yates, will he run for it? He will, and he's got it. Going across the 30. And they put him right down to the 30, but he's on the chalk, so he's got a first down.
Yeah, he's got it, and it's interesting. You watch number 28, Dennis Johnson, did a nice job of turning back and protecting his quarterback. You can see at the end of this run, he goes on the flat route. It's an option pass. He can throw it or run it. TJ decides to throw it, and you can see 28 just gives him a little butt to keep pressure off your quarterback. The guy's only 5'7", man, barely 5'7", but he's strong, not afraid to butt somebody twice his size.
Yeah, and it's not something he enjoys all that much. We talked about pass protection. There's some movement up front on the left side.
Number 84, offense. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
Going to call it on Ryan Griffin, the rookie. 6th-round pick, the tight end from UConn.
Yeah, we've seen 2 rookie mistakes, one on defense, one on offense, and these are players that coaches on both sides of the football for the Texans have a lot of encouragement for and excitement in terms of their potential to help this ball club, and we've seen some early typical rookie mistakes.
So, loss of 5, 1st and 15. Johnson staying in the backfield, along with Klutz. Batted right back again. So without penetration, reading the eyes of the quarterback, TJ Yates, good job by it. The 1st-round pick, Sharif Floyd.
Yeah, the offensive line can do a better job too. Quesenberry, all those guys that are up front, just because a defender has stopped engaging you, you have to engage him. When you get separation, you go find somebody to put a hat on to keep their hands down. They're going to protect them inside, no cut blocks and things of that nature that's allowed in between that tackle block. A lot of rule changes in the National Football League with player safety being the focus, but the offensive line has got to help him out in those situations.
So Yates in the offense looking at 2nd and 15. Got time. And across the middle. That is a dart to Keyshawn Martin.
Excellent protection by the offensive line, handling the games and the deals by the Vikings up front, giving Yates the time to make it. You can see the isolation play off coverage. Keyshawn does a great job of stopping. Probably could have snapped that off a little bit more. A lot harder, but he does a great job of seating the ball and getting upfield for the first down.
And when I brought up Keyshawn Martin a couple of days ago to Gary Kubiak, his voice kind of brightened. He feels real good about where Keyshawn is in camp. 45 yards in completions after that grab. 4 for 8 for TJ Yates. Not available over the left side. Good penetration. No gain for Dennis Johnson.
Apologies, partner. One of the things that Dennis is going to have to learn in this league, when he gets up in that traffic, that hole will naturally flow back to the opposite. That's where the lane will be. You go back to the old Terrell Davis years back with the Denver Broncos. That's what Gary sees in terms of his ability to potentially project what this young man can do. He's got to be a little bit more patient, slow to, fast through in a zone blocking scheme.
Don't run yourself out of the play.
You can't do it.
He ran up the back of his blocker that time. 2nd and 11. And out in the flat, Klutz. He's horse collared. Out of bounds at about, and now when I say horse collar in the old-fashioned days, it was just tackled around the collar.
Yeah.
He's put out of bounds legally at the 46, shy of the 1st down by 2.
So Klutz with a skillful catch there, and again, now the Texans look like they've got a little rhythm working here. Gary dialing up some nice plays for TJ Yates.
1st and 10 line this quarter is all brought to you by BHP Billiton. Can they convert on 3rd down?
Sierra Woodson again.
Big back has taken over. The rookie from Notre Dame. Ben, it is a 1st down. Wood at 5'11", 215 pounds, 22-year-old. from Oxnard, California, where the Dallas Cowboys are training right now.
Another one of the undrafted free agents out of Notre Dame. Great job of looking here. You see the cutback lane. See, that's exactly what Dennis Johnson was looking at a minute ago. He got up in too close to the line of scrimmage. Sierra Wood feels it. Came out early as a junior. Some people thought it was a poor move. It turned out to be because he didn't get drafted. But I tell you what, I think he didn't get a lot of attention, but he could help this ball club.
Nice. Yates, a little waggle action after the play fake, and coming back against the grain, Garrett Graham. He's got a first down inside the 40. A little breathing room down to the 36 now, and a drive that started. And don't forget, they converted on a third down after it was back after a mark off of 5 yards. Drive started back at the Texans 15, so some confidence for the seconds.
Nice execution, too, as Gary looks on. You had a quarterback, as you indicated, on the waggle action, and then Graham backsided. He's got to stick it on that hash mark. Nice job of the quarterback throwing back across, Graham settling down to make the catch.
Sierra Wood with a deep eye set with Klutz.
Stretch play. Nice.
Toss. And Wood turns the corner. Out of bounds, short gain. Now they'll put him out after a gain of about 2 down to the 34, and unfortunately a Viking is down. I don't want to jinx it, but you know we've only had 1 flag in this game.
That's good.
That's not good. That's beyond belief. Floyd is down, their first-round pick, and that's bad news. Hopefully it's nothing serious for the young man that was taken 23rd overall in the draft. So time out of the field. We'll come back on a 2nd and 8 coming up with the Texans down by 7 early in Minneapolis.
And welcome back to Minnesota Vikings football on the Vikings Entertainment Network. Rookie defensive lineman Sharif Floyd nicked up on that last play, Pete.
Yeah, he's finding out what it's like in life in the NFL as he got high. One of the offensive linemen came down and cut him on the side of the knee. You got to keep those feet moving. But looks like just a sprain. I think everybody here collectively held their breath when we found out that it was number 95 laying on the ground.
It is 10-3 Vikings, 6.5 minutes to go in the first half. There's Dr. Joel Boyd working on the rookie from Florida with the assistance of certified athletic trainer Eric Sugarman. Back to Ben Lieber with Everson Griffin.
All right, thanks, guys. Yeah, before we got cut off, I was talking about how, Everson, you are the most versatile player that I've really been around. You're the gunner on punt. You move up and down the defensive line as a defensive end and a D tackle. Tell us about your mindset as you move from the outside to the inside on those pass rush downs.
Playing that tackle spot, everything happens quicker. So I got to keep my hands tight, use my hands more and use my hand blockers. That's how you win inside the best way.
So last year was really kind of a breakout year for you. 9 sacks. What did you do differently last offseason to kind of help you with those 9 sacks and be more productive?
It all starts with focus and the mindset. I worked my tail off in the offseason, lifting, running, studying film. I became a student of the game, and I just took it to the next level. And I'm just trying to make this team better and help us win. Win big.
Well, it's always fun to watch you. Good luck to you, PA.
Meanwhile, thank you, Everson. Great job, Ben. Meanwhile, TJ Yates threw a beautiful fade to rookie DeAndre Hopkins, who left his feet, went up above backup cornerback Bobby Felder, and came down with a touchdown in the front right of the end zone. So the Houston Texans are an extra point from tying the game in the first preseason game. Here's the extra point try, and it is 6.5 minutes to go in the first half. It is the Minnesota Vikings 10, the Houston Texans 10. This is Minnesota Vikings football. Welcome back to Mall of America Field. It's Vikings football on the Vikings Entertainment Network. Here is tonight's player spotlight presented by Ram. Pete, it is punter Jeff Locke.
Jeff Locke comes out as the highest drafted punter in Vikings history, Paul, but we've seen with guys like Sebastian Janikowski, really first round, he's a field goal kicker. I know Locke's the punter. One thing that you see about him, he's left-footed, and that gives some problems to return guys down the road. It's always a bit of a wrinkle. But not only can he kick, Paul, he is Athletic Director's Academic Excellence Award 2012, so he fits the mold, I think, of what Spielman's trying to bring in here, and that's quality young men, guys who are intelligent. So he's got a lot of pressure on him. Let's just hope he stays off his Twitter account, and all we hear from him is about him keeping balls inside the 20.
He has yet to punt this evening, Jeff Locke. led the Pac-12 in touchbacks last year with 68. He also had 34 punts inside the 20. Here's the kick, and here's Stephen Burton heading to the right, to the 10, to the 15, to the 20, turns it up, stumbles at the 28. And Stephen Burton, with a 51-yard reception, is taken down around the 30. 6:18 to go in the first half from All of America Field. Game tied at 10 on the Minnesota Vikings Entertainment Network. From cozy Mall of America Field, it's Vikings football on the Vikings Entertainment Network. Game tied at 10. Kick off the 2013 season with the Vikings Back to Football 5K run September 21st, presented by Twin Cities Orthopedics and supported by Country Financial. For more information, visit vikings.com/run. It is 1st and 10 for the Vikings from their own 32. Game tied at 10. Matt Castle, 8 of 13, 184 yards. A touchdown to Zach Line and an interception before that. Sharif Floyd was nicked up a few series ago. Let's go to Ben Lieber on the sidelines for an update.
Yeah, the young rookie explosive D tackle that everyone was so excited to see. He's out with a knee injury right now. They're saying he's doubtful, but looking very good early on with a nice TFL, getting after the quarterback, but we don't expect to see him the rest of the game.
Greg Coleman, what do you think of the tempo of the game so far?
Well, so far so good, Paul, and that's one thing that the coaches wanted to keep in mind, to remind these players: tempo, 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 and execution. So far so good.
It's 1st and 5 for the Vikings following the offsides penalty, and there's a handoff across the 40-yard line. And running close to a first down after a 4-yard gain will be backup running back Joe Banyard in his first full year from Texas El Paso. And that'll make it 2nd and short from the 41-yard line as the Vikings face Texans backups. Rhett Ellison heads out to the left. Stephen Burton is slot left. Rookie Cordero Patterson playing the entire first half. 3 catches, 43 yards. He's to the right. Burton in motion, I formation, 2nd and short. It is a toss right, and running for a Minnesota Vikings first down to about the 50-yard line is Bradley Randall, an undrafted rookie from UNLV. Bradley Randall has been delivering some intense hits at Vikings training camp in Mankato. He's diminutive, 5'7", 193 pounds. Runs very, very hard. Very tough guy to bring down, Pete.
And when you have a running back with that low center of gravity, he is. And, you know, it's still a team effort. And I look at Stephen Burton as he jogs off the field as a wide receiver who's doing his job blocking on the outside. We've said his name quite a few times tonight.
Here's a handoff to Randall out of the eye, and he will be trapped in the backfield at the 45-yard line for a loss of 4 yards. As the clock continues to wind here at Mall of America Field, 4:50 and counting to go in the first half. The game is tied at 10. You know, Ben Lieber was interviewing Everson Griffin during the Texans touchdown. That T.J. Yates pass to DeAndre Hopkins, boy, that Hopkins, that lanky receiver from Clemson, he looked pretty good.
He did, and that was one of the, when you take a look and you watch the corners on the outside, it was just a mistimed jump by Bobby Felder, and that's something that a corner cannot do.
Here's Castle back to pass. He'll zip it to the right, and it is caught by rookie Cordero Patterson, his 4th reception of the game. That is a gain of 8 yards, giving him 4 catches for 51 yards. Cordero working the boundary.
And this is what we're seeing out of Cordero Patterson, Paul, in a guy who can go out there and run routes. And again, he's going to be equated or looked at like with Percy Harvin. With the loss of Percy, we bring him in. Already he's run more down the field routes, more curls and more outs than we saw Percy Harvin run before. So he's more of a pattern type classic receiver.
Castle shotgun, Texans blitz. Castle fires left, incomplete, off the fingertips of Cordero Patterson at the Texans 20-yard line. And that'll make it 4th down, 4th and 2. And here comes the first punt for left-footed rookie Jeff Locke.
Well, one of the most important things for
Cordero has to catch that.
Yeah, he does. He has to come down on that one. Now, one of the most important things for a quarterback is to have some kind of rhythm with a wide receiver, and I think we've seen that with Cordero Patterson this evening, and especially with Matt Castle. So it's good to see that happen.
Here's the Leffler snap to Locke. High end-over-end Aussie rules type punt, and it's a fair catch at the 10-yard line. A 33-yard punt for rookie Jeff Locke, but it does serves the team well, as the team had elite kick coverage last year and punt coverage. and has continued that in the first preseason game. I think the kick coverage has been really good. Trapped the Texans inside the 20. That first punt by rookie Jeff Locke, you know, his punting this year will be important, but I think equally as important how he holds field goals for Blair Walsh, who might be the best kicker in the league.
No question. And when you have two kickers like that, you have to play the field position game, and that's what we're seeing. We run the football. We're not maybe necessarily an explosive 80-yard down the field style of offense, but you have to play that field position type game. If you're going to punt the ball around the 50, you pin them in deep, make them go the long field, make them punt, we get the ball back. Maybe a Cordero Patterson returning the punt from the 50, get it to the 30, and now you're already in field goal range. That's that transition from offense to defense to special teams that I know Leslie Frazier needs out of this club. And when you have kickers like that, Paul, it just makes sense. A good kicker's good running game, you're set to play that field position battle.
2nd and 10 from the 10, receivers left and right, and here's a handoff left. And the backup running back, Dennis Johnson, the rookie from Arkansas, stonewalled at the 10-yard line. Tyrone McKenzie along with Lawrence Jackson, formerly a member of the Detroit Lions, and Everett Dawkins, a 7th-round pick by the Vikings, drafted behind Mike Motti. They converged on the tackle. Lawrence Jackson trying to earn a spot on this deep defensive line. He was a backup for the Detroit Lions, backing up Cliff Averill, who now is a defensive end for one of the chic picks to go to the Super Bowl in the NFC, the Seattle Seahawks. Lawrence Jackson playing with 3 minutes to go in the first half, and it's 3rd and 10 from the 10 as the play clock winds down to 4. This feels like it'll be a Texans timeout.
Now a crowd noise in here for a preseason game. You've taken a look around the league, Paul. We've seen a lot of stadiums that half empty. But, nice showing by the fans tonight. Always here, always loud in this last year of All-America Field.
Christian Ponder started his preseason 1 of 2 for 15 yards. He did have an interception, and Ben Lieber has picked him off on the sidelines for a chat.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. We're here with Christian Ponder, obviously the guy that's going to have the ball in his hands a lot, and obviously the leader of this offense. We go back to last year, and really offensively, kind of an up and down year for everybody and the team. You've had a few months to think about it, process it. What's your evaluation and thoughts from last year?
We started off well. I think, beating San Francisco early, having the win, the first win against Jacksonville at home in the first game was big for us. We started off great, and then we kind of, got in the middle of that season, and I turned the ball over too many times. We had a lot of things to improve upon. I think we learned, especially myself, I learned a lot of those things and got better, and we saw what we did in the last 4 games of the season, and we're able to get ourselves to the playoffs.
So we fast forward a couple months, you pick up Cordero Patterson in the draft. You get a guy across the border in Greg Jennings. Just those 2 guys alone, what's your early impression of those guys?
Well, we knew what we were getting in Greg. We saw him across on the other side of the field every time we played the Packers twice a year, and he's a great player. Understands defenses, understands offense. He's a great guy to talk to and communicate about things. I've learned a lot from him already, and he's also a great guy. You watch him in his routes. He knows how to get open. He knows how to attack a defense and a defender, and understands leverage, and just has. He's a great player, and I think he's rubbing off on the other guys. And Cordero, he's having a heck of a night tonight already. He's got a ton of talent. He's a young guy. He's got a lot to learn, but he's already picking up a lot of things.
Well, I'm excited to see what you can do in this offense, thrown to those guys, and obviously running Adrian Peterson behind you. So best of luck to you.
All right, appreciate it, Ben.
Thanks, Ben. Multiple flags on this punt. A flag came in from the outset. Jarius Wright, second year from Arkansas, in the estimation of many, having an outstanding training camp down in Mankato. He was definitely interfered with as he went to catch the punt, but there was a flag before that, Pete.
Yeah, and these might end up being both on the Texans. The gunner to our side, the Viking sideline, didn't really make an effort to get back onto the field as the referees discuss this. And when the Vikings, I think, will have a chance to either take one of the 2 penalties and move this play back.
During the kick, there were 2 fouls by the receiving team. Number 22 voluntarily went out of bounds,
by the
came back
kicking
in.
team.
That penalty will be declined. Interference with the opportunity to
Preseason for Pete Morelli.
Fair catch. A 15-yard penalty will be enforced from the spot of the foul. Automatic. First down. Penalty is on number 35.
All righty, so the Vikings will be the beneficiaries of excellent field position with 2:13 to go in the first half. Analyze it for us, Pete.
Now, one thing for sure, that as a coverage guy, you have to give the returning guy, Jarius Wright, room catch the punt. And then on this play, the gunners cannot just voluntarily run out of bounds, because guys in the old days used to use the sideline like a pick. They have to be forced out of bounds. If they're forced out of bounds, they have to make an immediate effort to get back into play. You can't just run outside. So that's a young rookie mistake. So 2 mistakes by the Houston Texans kicking team gives the Vikings the ball in very, very good field position. And you take a look at the penalties so far tonight, and that's another measure of how ready a team is going into the preseason. The Vikings have really done a much better job controlling things and keeping the laundry off the field.
Matt Castle, 9th-year quarterback from USC, with a touchdown pass tonight out of the shotgun, back to pass, zips it to the right, flag on the play. It's caught by Jarius Wright, playing up in front of halftime at the 40, and he is stopped at the 38-yard line. Quick hitting connection of 9 yards. Castle to Jarius Wright after a first quarter that was penalty-free. But we have seen several infractions here in the second quarter, and Pete Morelli will analyze the damage on this one. The referees are still sorting out exactly what the situation is. It was a 9-yard connection from Castle to Wright. Matt Castle, by the way.
We have 2 fouls on the defense. Holding.
Nice.
Number 31, the penalty will be declined. Personal foul, roughing the passer. Number 97, that penalty will be added to the end of the run. Under the catch, automatic first down.
That's Terrell McClain, 3rd year from South Florida, roughing up our backup, Matt Castle. Let's take a peek at it, Peter.
Well, as we know, they're doing a lot more to protect the quarterback.
Ooh.
That's just helmet-to-helmet contact.
Yeah.
They're going to call that every time.
That's a little vicious.
It is, maybe not intentional, but as a D lineman, you're coming up in there and you want to at least get a hit on the quarterback. You see the head coaches and everyone arguing about it, but that was a no-brainer. If the crown of your helmet comes in contact with the helmet of the quarterback, they're going to call it every time.
It's a Kubiak family affair tonight at Mall of America Field, by the way. Gary Kubiak, coach of the 12-4 Texans from last year. Clint Kubiak, his son, is a quality coordinator for the Minnesota Vikings in his first year, and he's working with the offense. Right. So the Vikings have it 1st and 10 from the Texans 22, game tied at 10, and after all that, we hit the 2-minute warning. But the Vikings are threatening, led by Matt Castle. Game tied at 10 from Mall of America Field on the Minnesota Vikings Entertainment Network. Friday, welcome to Vikings football on the Vikings Entertainment Network. Game tied at 10. Tonight's rookie profile presented by Tria Orthopedic Center, official team physicians of the Minnesota Vikings. Pete, it is Sharif Floyd.
Sharif Floyd showing up tonight with tackle for a loss, getting his hands up, batting the ball down, showing some awareness as a defensive tackle and a young man. We see his productivity from his college days, but Floyd is really counted on to be that inside tackle. Kevin Williams getting a little long in the tooth. Will he be back? Sharif Floyd is going to have to be that man in the middle.
High snap to Castle, and he'll dump it left to Stephen Burton, caught at the 20-yard line with 1:53 and counting to go in the first half. That's a gain of 3. Here's Sharif Floyd channeling his inner Kevin Williams with this pass breakup.
Exactly right, Paul, and that's just being smart, being a smart player, knowing when to hold him and knowing when to fold him, so to speak. To see the quarterback set up, get ready to pass, put the hands up. So normally an offensive lineman's going to cut you in that instance and make you pay for it, but Sharif did a nice job of getting some distance.
Here's Castle passing left, ball tipped at the line of scrimmage, and it falls incomplete at the 10-yard line, making it 3rd and 7 from the Texans 19. 1.5 minutes to go in the first half, game tied at 10. TJ Yates to DeAndre Hopkins for a touchdown. Matt Castle to Zach Line for a long touchdown. A couple of field goals, including one by Blair Walsh, make it 10-10. And the Vikings have all 3 timeouts remaining before we hit halftime. Rick Spielman, general manager of the Vikings, joins us in the third quarter. Trips right, receiver left. Castle shotgun on 3rd down. It'll be a screen yet left. Caught by Banyard. Turns it up at the 20 to the 10. Gets a 15. That is, gets a block, and he'll be stopped at about the 15-yard line. So that sets Blair Walsh up for a field goal opportunity. This is Joe Banyard, a 5'10", 205-pound running back in his first full year from Texas El Paso.
And Paul, and you're seeing the effects to get into football and what the coaches are looking for down here as you get close to the red zone, especially inside of the 2-minute drill or the 2-minute drill with a short field. You want to make sure that those passes are completion, so the offensive line can't have the defensive line batting down balls. Anything to do to stop the clock. And the issue, again, you have the opportunity now to go up by 3, but you're going to give the ball back with Houston with a little bit of time left. These are the types of scenarios that the coaches are going to pull their players aside and talk about game awareness, because this is where the young guys, to make that next step, to make that next big move, they have to be more aware of what's going on.
33-yard try, left hash, snap spot, right-footed kick is good by Blair Walsh. And the rookie Jeff Locke with another perfect hold. And the Vikings take a 13-10 lead deep in the first half, 1:19 to go. Tonight's Vikings Buzz presented by the Minnesota State Fair. Let's go to Twitter, the world of Twitter. It is from @MartyFish, a dear friend of the Vikings radio network and a huge Vikings fan, obviously watching us right now. The hashtag is HOUVSMIN. And Marty Fish, one of the best tennis players in the world, wants to know the Vikings he says, at Vikings preseason opener tonight, we win by 78. Skull. Sounds like he's taking a forehand smash or some type of hard serve into the head if he thinks anybody's winning by 78 in the preseason. But we're glad you're watching us this evening, Marty. And indeed, we are looking for nothing but aces all season with the Minnesota Vikings, off a 10-6 season last year, unceremoniously ending at Lambeau Field in the playoffs. But this year, hopefully the team can win more games and finish out the final season at storied Mall of America Field with a really good record, and hopefully maybe even an off week in the postseason, and then the opportunity to host a postseason game here. Don't miss the Great Minnesota Get-Together, August 22nd through Labor Day. It's the Minnesota State Fair. Blair Walsh will kick off after hitting that field goal, kicking the Vikings to a 13-10 lead. Matt Castle, by the way, is 12 of 19 for 212 yards, a touchdown and a pick. Here's a kick that sails deeply out of the end zone for another Blair Walsh touchback. Get used to that. He had 53 touchbacks last year, and we knew when Rick Spielman drafted him in the 6th round a couple of years ago off a very nondescript final season at Georgia, that one thing Blair would do extremely well was kick the ball out of the back of the end zone. That's a weapon. That is a legitimate weapon for this team.
No question about it. And you could tell last year that throughout the course of the season, Blair Walsh was actually trying to hang the football in the air and let it drop around the goal line, buying plenty of time for the coverage team. But in a 2-minute situation like this, just had to kick it out the back of the end zone.
Here's TJ Yates stepping up to the left, firing across his body, and it is caught. It is caught in front of the Vikings bench by Keyshawn Martin, a second-year wide receiver from Michigan State, gain of 12. Texans have one timeout remaining, a minute to go in the first half. Vikes lead by 3. Yates will dump it right, caught by the rookie Johnson, shakes the tackle at the 33, turns it up and is tackled by Andrew Sendejo at the 38-yard line. Quick hitting gain of 6, and the Texans hustle to the line of scrimmage again. Their quarterback is TJ Yates, played a playoff game of Baltimore a couple of years ago. He's in his 3rd year from North Carolina. He's flustered. He is forced out of the pocket to the right. He'll fire, and it's caught by tight end Graham at the 45-yard line, and he gets out of bounds with 31 seconds to go in the first half. That is a gain of 7.
And you take a look at the guys that are on the field, like Sendejo and Audie Cole. These are the guys that just got done. Larry Dean covering a kick, and then you got to stay out there for the 2-minute drill. So for these backups, for these guys that are fighting for roster spots, they're out there giving it all. And it is absolutely no fun to have to go out there, cover a kick, get out there, get in the 2-minute drill. But right now, Vikings playing some nice underneath zone, making TJ Yates throw the ball underneath, not giving him anything deep.
Here's Yates, deep in the first half, dump right, caught Graham, turns up into Vikings territory, taken down at the 46 by Larry Dean. That is a gain of 8 yards. Larry Dean, arguably the best overall special teams player for Mike Prefer's unit. Didn't lead the team in special teams tackles last year, but Pete, before there was Larry Dean, there was Heath Farwell. Before Heath Farwell, there was Chris Walsh. Before there was Chris Walsh, there was Pete Bursich. So even though Tyrone McKenzie finished leading the team in special teams tackles with 20, I'm told a lot of it was due to the work of Larry Dean funneling a lot of stuff his way.
All right, and you go and you mentioned Chris Walsh, and I remember that was something that Gary Zahn, our old special teams coach, really liked to do, and that's pair certain guys up so they could work off each other, and that's exactly right. You have one guy that's going to be down there quicker, make some moves, and you have someone behind him to go ahead and make the plays. So yeah, those guys often work in tandem.
24 seconds to go in the first half. Yates back to pass, zips it right, incomplete. Bad drop by a receiver for the Texans. That is Lester Jean, a third-year wide receiver from Florida Atlantic. Went right off the old hands. So that'll make it 3rd and 2 from the 46. And checking into the game now for the Vikings is Lawrence Jackson, 6-year defensive end from University of Southern California. Trying to win a spot on this team. Very deep on the defensive line are the Minnesota Vikings. And the likes of Jared Allen, Brian Robinson, and Kevin Williams did not even play this evening. On 3rd down with 20 seconds to go. Yates back to pass, fires left. It's caught by Lester Jean at the 36-yard line. Didn't drop that one. Texans out of timeouts in hustle mode. Expect Yates to kill the clock here, and that's what he does. Spikes the ball down. 5 seconds to go in the first half. From the 37-yard line, they are going to attempt a 54-yard field goal to tie the game at halftime. Now remember, in the third quarter, Minnesota Vikings general manager Rick Spielman joins us in the booth as we will analyze the roster, and I'm sure in patented Spielman fashion, he'll give us all the answers as to what the final 53 is going to look like, right?
Yeah, and well, we do know what he's going to like, and he's going to like the performance of both of the rookies that showed up tonight, and we still have one more left to see, and that's Xavier Rhodes.
Here we go, 54-yard try, left hash, snap, spot, right-footed kick will come up short. And the Minnesota Vikings have a 13-10 lead at halftime. Blair Walsh with a couple of field goals. Matt Castle with a touchdown, and it was dazzling. It was to SMU product Zach Line with a great block by Stephen Burton. Gives the Vikings a touchdown, and we have a 13-10 lead on the Minnesota Vikings Entertainment Network. Back to Mall of America Field. Pete Bursich, Paul Allen, Ben Lieber, and Greg Coleman on the sidelines. The Vikings lead the Houston Texans 13-10. We're a couple of minutes away from the third quarter. There we will be joined by Minnesota Vikings general manager Rick Spielman. And as we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, Mike Motti, a rookie linebacker from Penn State, has been wired for sound. Let's take a listen.
Hey. Hey, the little things, details, fellas. Hey, your first time up here now. Just a game, man. Run around, hit somebody. Do it.
Have some fun, right? Baby. Yep.
Keep it real simple in this game plan. We run and hit. That's it. All right, LB's on 3. 1, 2, 3.
LB.
Have some fun, baby.
Yeah, I know. These are nice, bro. I want to take this uniform home. This shit is sweet.
Last year, I feel like
Welcome back to the Vikings Radio Network and the Vikings Entertainment Network, with the Vikings leading 13-10 right in front of the third quarter. Head coach Leslie Frazier is with our own Greg Coleman.
Coach, you're up 13-10. There were some positive things, but you got to talk about the performance of rookie wide receiver Cordell Patterson.
Yeah, he's really looked pretty good out there running routes and catching balls. That kickoff was pretty nice as well, so he's off to a good start.
Anything else, your impressions of the first half?
Well, I like the way our guys are flying around, trying to make plays, and that run by Zach Line, that was a pretty impressive run. I think our defense has done some good things, like to be able to get some turnovers and not give away the football in the second half, but we're doing some good things so far.
Coach, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
That's head coach Leslie Frazier. Vikings up 13-10. Paul, back up to you.
All right, Greg, great work. We are happy to be joined in the booth by Minnesota Vikings general manager Rick Spielman. He's between Pete Bursich and yours truly. 13-10, Vikings lead at half. First of all, welcome. And secondly, what you think of the first half?
There were a lot of positive things. There's some negative things that we need to get cleaned up. You know, the 2 turnovers you can't have. But on the other side of that, I think the defense forced them into a punt, and we also held them to a field goal. You got an opportunity to see some of our young guys perform out there. I think 84, Cordell Patterson showed up not only in the receiving end, but also as a kickoff returner. So I'm very excited about that. Sharif did a nice job making a couple plays inside, but overall, besides the turnovers, that was a pretty good first half for the first time being out here.
Yeah, you had 3 first-round picks. You traded up to get the receiver from Tennessee, Rick, with Sharif Floyd, the 23rd overall pick in the draft. Which facet of his game did you like most? Did you like that pass batted away at the line of scrimmage, or the tackle for loss? What's more important at this stage?
What he showed there was the quickness to get upfield and penetrate, not only against the run, but a couple times in his pass rush. And the one thing that he did do, he felt he got hold on 1 or 2 of those times when he did get penetration upfield as a pass rusher. But overall, very solid performance for his first outing.
We see Cordero Patterson there. Pete, talk about him.
Yeah, I was going to say, Rick, you're looking at a guy who's a big receiver, and I think he's going to have that comparison with Percy Harvin. And the things that he can do compared to Person, I think what we're seeing out of him is that he is a true route runner and really can be a true possession receiver.
I think he's going to be more than just a possession receiver. Did a nice job coming across the middle. You've seen the courage he has coming inside and catching into traffic. You see he does have some explosive speed. And as we get evolving into this preseason and they add a little bit more into the playbook, it'll be interesting to see how Bill Musgrave does get the ball in his hands, because I think he's too explosive of a playmaker not to have a few touches every game for him.
Blair Walsh with a couple of touchbacks in the first half. He'll kick it left to right as we see it. Behind the Vikings bench at the 50, and boom. There's another deep kick, and this one will sail out of the end zone. 3 touchbacks for Blair Walsh. That was quite in vogue for him last year. Vikes lead 13-10 into the third quarter. Tonight's game stats are presented by Verizon, America's fastest 4G LTE network. The Vikings 247 yards of offense. Only 24 rushing yards. The Vikings and Texans have both thrown quite a bit in the first half. The Texans +1 in first downs, and the Vikings 2 of 5 on third down conversions. Rick Spielman, general manager for the Minnesota Vikings, is in the booth with us, and he will not only analyze the third quarter, but talk about his conundrum that he and the rest of the Vikings personnel staff will have when it comes to cutting down a very deep roster to 53 players. There is Lawrence Jackson, the former Lion, with a nice thrust on the backup quarterback, the third quarterback used by the Texans. That's Case Keenum in his first full year from Houston.
Yeah.
Lawrence Jackson, how does he fit in?
Lawrence has had a good camp for us. We signed him from Detroit. He is a left end that does have some pass rush ability to him. The one thing you've seen on that play, we were getting hurt in the first half on that boot action. But just watching Larry Dean and some of those linebackers reacting to that dig route coming underneath on that boot play took that away. So it's a nice job for those young guys adjusting.
It's 2nd and 10 for the Texans. Audie Cole with the stop with an assist from a backup defensive tackle. The guy who was on the team last year, at least on the practice squad, Chase Baker, in his first full year from Boise State. We talk about the numbers count. Pete and I talked about it in the first half. Offensive line, defensive line, linebackers, defensive backs, amount of quarterbacks, wide receivers. You got a lot of tough decisions coming up here, don't you?
I think this will be our toughest year trying to make some cuts, and it's going to be, I know that some of the guys that we are going to cut are going to eventually end up on some other teams' rosters.
Here's Keenum with a pass out to the right, and it'll be caught short of the first down. Audie Cole in the coverage. Roderick Williams, a Canadian Football League star, late on the scene, and the Texans have to punt.
Of course, everybody's going to leave tonight talking about Cordero Patterson with 54 yards of receiving, but how about the job Stephen Burton has done? 62-yard reception. You see him out there blocking down the field. He and Jarius Wright are, again, fighting for a few coveted spots at the wide receiver position, but I think they've all shown up well tonight.
Yeah, Jarius has had an outstanding camp. We're really excited where he's at right now, and I'll get into it with right here, Stephen Burton.
Let's go. Stephen turns it up at the 30, and he's taken down at the 33. We'll get back into Stephen Burton and more of the depth of a Vikings team that went to the playoffs last year with Rick Spielman when we return. 13-10 Vikings in the third quarter. This is Vikings football. It's Vikings football on the Vikings Entertainment Network. The crowd is loving it. It's time for the Sanford Health Report. Let's focus on Jared Allen with Rick Spielman, our general manager of the Minnesota Vikings. Jared tweaked his ankle at training camp, but everything's okay, right?
Yeah, I came back and practiced the next day, and we held out a lot of our starters tonight.
Choose the experts. Choose Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. McLeod, Baltazar John Bethel Thompson is in the game as the third quarterback for the Vikings. Hands it off to Banyard, who heads to the right side, and he's taken down at the 39-yard line. Let's talk about Jared Allen again for a second. 12 sacks last year, despite multiple injuries during the season. Tough Jared Allen, too. He played through those injuries, had surgery in the offseason. I know you expect big things from him this year.
Yeah, no, Jared Allen is a true pro's pro. Not only what he does on the field for us, but what he does off the field. And there's no denying his ability and what he can bring to the table, and has done that since he's been here.
Burton in motion, I formation behind Bethel Thompson. And the handoff is stopped at the 40-yard line for just a gain of a couple. That'll make it third and short for the Vikings. Pete?
Now, you know, we saw a few throws by Ponder, but let's talk a little bit about Matt Castle. 12 of 19, 212 yards. He looked very comfortable in there. What kind of security does that give you to have a veteran like him as your backup instead of a project like a Joe Webb?
That's the reason why we signed him. We wanted to get him extensive reps this game just to get him familiar with the system. We got an opportunity to get a little 2-minute drill with him at the end of the half.
Yeah. Look at McLeod fire left to Stephen Burton, first down. Pete's talking about Matt Castle. You know, I remember when he came into the league with New England. And not following college football that closely, I didn't realize that he didn't play at USC.
No, he was a backup.
Yeah, and then he comes in and he shines with New England and had a 27-touchdown season with Kansas City.
And that's a great program to come out of, and learning under Bill Belichick, and who better to have a mentor than Tom Brady as you come up through the ranks.
13-10 Vikings. McLeod Bethel Thompson facing a blitz, shakes it off, fires left for Burton, incomplete at the
Joe Webb.
Joe Webb, that is, at the 15. Joe Webb with his first action this evening. What are your thoughts on Joe Webb and his training camp and the transition to receiver?
You know, Joe's done an outstanding job, really working hard, trying to hone in his receiving skills. He's a big body with very good hands, has made a lot of nice catches underneath and at the intermediate route during training camp. Still working a little bit on the deep ball, but we also trying to get a look at him if he can contribute on special teams. Are there specific packages that the offense and Bill Musgrave can use with him just to give a different variety?
McLeod Bethel Thompson will dump it right, and it is caught at the 50-yard line, and turning it up the field is Chase Ford, a first-year tight end from the University of Miami. You know, Chase Ford, along with a guy like Zach Line, who had that touchdown reception earlier. Line at Southern Methodist University had more all-purpose yards than Eric Dickerson. Now, that doesn't mean he's going to be the next Craig James or Eric Dickerson, but he definitely impressed you this evening, didn't he?
He's an old-school football player, and I know halfway through camp there, he had his nose busted up pretty good, and he was walking through the food line, and it looked like those guys when Pete played with those suspension helmets. The bridge of his nose was just all scarred up and everything, but he was like a one-back down at SMU, has very good hands. You've seen his receiving ability, but he's really, really a tough kid and learning the fullback position right now and what it takes to be a blocker.
Here's Jeff Locke to punt. He has one punt this evening, and his first punt went for 33 yards by design.
This will be another pooch situation, and watch the flight of the ball. He's an Aussie-style kicker, one of the best in college last year in pooch situations. I know his first one was down at the 10, and this one gets fair caught at the 6.
Look at that. Jeff Locke, 2 for 2 with outstanding punts. Rick Spielman, general manager for the Vikings, stays in studio. The Vikings lead 13-10, third quarter on the Vikings Entertainment Network. America Field, it's Vikings football on the Vikings Entertainment Network. 13-10 Vikings, 11 minutes to go in the third quarter. Time for the Jeep Coaching Spotlight. Tonight, the focus is on offensive coordinator Bill Musgrave. General Manager Rick Spielman in the booth with us. Mr. Musgrave, quirky and calculated.
Yeah, Bill has done a very good job for us. I think this year, the one thing we wanted to do was get some weapons on the outside by getting Cordero Patterson, getting a Greg Jennings, a healthy Jerome Simpson. That gives the offensive coordinator a lot of different options in his playbook and what he can dial up.
Keenum at quarterback for the Texans. I formation behind him. Vikings lead by 3. Handoff to the tailback. Wood sprints to the right side across the 10, and he is tackled at the 13-yard line. A bunch of Vikings 2s and 3s still in the game. Lawrence Jackson part of that tackle. With Bill Musgrave, Percy Harvin was an MVP type last year up to that Seattle game. He gets hurt, he's done for the year. Some coordinators may have been so competitively arrogant, they may have indicated I know this quarterback's struggling a little bit right now, but I'm going to prove to you that my schemes can make him good. Instead, he balanced things out beautifully, increased Adrian's rushing load, went to more 3 tight end sets, and the 22 personnel, as you guys call it, with a couple of tight ends and Jerome Felton. I thought that was a key decision Musgrave made middle of the year last year to help you guys get to the playoffs.
When the young quarterback was struggling, Bill knew how to dial it back a little bit, and plus the way Adrian was running. And then he dialed it back up once Christian came out of that slump last year, and you really seen that towards the end of the season, and especially that last game against Green Bay.
I was going to say, usually you see an offensive coordinator kind of open up that playbook in his second season because the guys have a good grasp of the base of the offense, but with these new weapons and what we're seeing tonight, I expect to see a lot more into that playbook, don't you?
You won't be seeing it in the preseason.
Oh, of course not. But it gives you something to be excited about. You think that the guys are ready and you have the tools on the outside.
No, and a lot of the stuff that we've kind of worked through the OTAs and mini camp and training camp, you won't see during the preseason. They'll kind of put that in his back pocket until we get into the regular season. But very excited, and you can't forget about Kyle Rudolph and a healthy John Carlson. And John Carlson made some nice plays here tonight as well, and has had a very good camp.
Yeah, John looked faster tonight than he did last year, but of course he got injured last year at the worst time during training camp, right?
Got injured in the first week and didn't suit up the whole preseason.
This Jean or Jean is doing himself no favors tonight. That's his second
drop.
His second drop. Right between the old 1 and the 8. It's 2nd and 10 with about 9 minutes to go in the third quarter. Vikes lead 13-10, Texans ball. General manager Rick Spielman in the booth behind the Vikings bench at about the 50. Your quarterback, Christian Ponder, 1 of 2 this evening, 15 yards, had an interception, went off the fingertips of Jerome Simpson. I know the design this evening was to have Christian play 1 series, no matter what it was, 7-minute possession or what happened tonight. Why just 1 series this evening for Christian?
That was the decision on Leslie and the coaches. We had a busted coverage there on the outside in the flat with a blitz. But, Leslie has done an outstanding job, and we've had a very, very tough training camp. The players have been in pads every day since we've been down there, since we've been able to get in them. And we've got a lot of work done with our ones down there at that time. So at this point, this first preseason game, I'm sure Leslie wanted to back off and give some of those guys rest, get their legs back, because they'll get an opportunity to play a lot more as we go down the road here in these next 2 preseason games.
And with the amount of contact that Leslie's given these players down on the field, is that because we're a young team? Is that because of the limits that are put on and the necessity to be fundamentally sound?
I think it's a combination of both, but I also know that really helped us going into the season last year. And we did have a young team last year. We're going to have a lot of young guys playing for us this year again as well. So to get that opportunity, and with the limited amount of reps you can get with pads on, because once you get into the regular season, you're allowed to practice 1 day in pads. And then about the 11th week, you take those pads totally off. So all the pad work and the timing that you have to get done in practice with pads on, you have to do it at this time of year.
13-10 Vikings midway through the third quarter. Keenum goes play action, rolls out to the left, looks to dump it left flat, and he does. Incomplete at the 39-yard line. That'll make it 2nd and 10. After the December 2nd game at Lambeau, where you guys were representing very well, there was a bad interception after a long Adrian run. Outside of a bad underthrow in this building to Jarius Wright, intercepted by Major Wright in the Bears game, Ponder with 5 touchdowns over the final 4 games, 4 passing, 1 rushing, and only 1 interception, and he had that rushing touchdown against St. Louis. You guys swept out December. What changed for Christian so that he was able to rediscover confidence?
That was one thing that really defined Christian maturing as a quarterback, and something clicked in that last those 4 games, especially when our backs were against the wall and we needed to win all 4 to get into the playoffs. And it happens at different times with all these young quarterbacks. I remember a couple years ago, more than a few years ago, we played Eli Manning at New York, and we picked him off 4 times that game.
Yep.
And then right after that, he went on a tear and went on to win the Super Bowl, I believe, that year. But he was getting ready to get run out of town at that point. So you have to have patience. You have to kind of go through the lumps with these young quarterbacks. But if you really believe, and he's showing signs of improving year in and year out, week in and week out, we're definitely excited about that.
A couple of Rick's draft picks are in the game now from Penn State. Gerald Hodges and linebacker Mike Motti. On 3rd and short from the Vikings 37, Minnesota leads 13-10. Handoff Woods, sprints to the right side across the 30. Shakes a tackle at the 25, and he'll get a Texans first down to the 15. Mike Motti, what an amazing story. 3 ACLs, including one at IU at the end of the senior season. Nevertheless, you drafted him. From what I understand, he's representing well in training camp. There he is.
He's had a very good training camp. He's a true Mike linebacker, throwback type, has passion for the game, extremely smart, relies on his instincts and his ability to get off that spot when the ball snapped and to anticipate where that ball carrier is going.
Now, you seem to have a bit of a logjam here with these young linebackers, Gerald Hodges, Tyrone McKenzie, Mike Motti. What point in camp, at what point in this preseason do you really start trying to dial it into, I'm keeping 7 linebackers and this many DBs? Or is that a conversation that goes on right now?
We've had that conversation after minicamp. Just kind of took a stab at it. We've had that conversation, and
just for fun, right?
Yeah, meet with the coaches on every night down in Mankato, going through who's doing what. And a lot of these young guys will determine not only what they're doing on defense or offense in the preseason in these games, but also how they're contributing on special teams. Because we feel we have 9 linebackers, and all 9 can play in the NFL, and they all have all the veterans that we have, and we're key special teams players for us. So you're going to get in a dilemma when you're making these decisions on the 53-man. Do you keep a young up-and-coming guy and hopefully he continues to improve, or do you go with that savvy vet who helped you win ball games, especially in that backup role and as a special teamer?
1st and goal, Texans inside the 5. Even though you are 2 extreme backups here, more than midway through the 3rd quarter, what do you look for here on a 1st and goal situation from your defense?
You want to see how they respond. I know our defensive game plan coming in, just talking with Alan, he just wants to play a base defense and see all these young guys, if they function. Are they teaching the technique that we're teaching them? Are they able to function in a basic defense without making a lot of the mental errors? And see how guys respond the first time they're under the lights.
Mike Motti and George Johnson team up on the tackle. Motti with an outstanding maneuver there, Pete.
And this is exactly what you mean by the classic linebacker, downhill. And for a linebacker, keeping your shoulders square in the line of scrimmage is so important. So when you make that tackle, they go backwards. It's nice to see more than one purple jersey at the ball, but Mike Motti was the first guy there. So, Rick, he's living up to the billing that you've given him.
And doing a good job keeping his head out of the game.
I like him because he's number 56, and he was drafted at 213 overall. And he's like my twin.
Robert Blanton filtered the running back the way of the linebacker as Keenum goes back to pass, zips it left, incomplete at the goal line. That'll make it 3rd and goal. Bobby Felder with the deflection to make it 3rd and goal. The other Penn State linebacker, 54, Gerald Hodges. Converted safety. Does that mean at this stage of the equation, Rick, he's fast and he's comfortable in pass coverage, but maybe needs to work on the run-stopping part?
And we haven't seen any indication of that. The way they played him in Penn State was he played a lot over the slot. And what you see in college is these offenses that spread him out. And he was athletic as any linebacker we've seen in college last year, being able to play in space.
3rd and goal for the Texans, trailing by 3, bunched formation right. Keenum back to pass, rolls right, dumps right, incomplete.
Bobby Felder again.
Bobby Felder opening the general manager's eyes with a couple of nice plays after a blown coverage. And the Vikings defense holds the Case Keenum-led offense to a field goal opportunity, Pete.
Well, you take a look at the defensive backs. Another group that's, when you're veteran in the group. Jamarcus Sanford has 5 years under his belt. You're going to have a lot of young guys, a lot of talent. We've seen Bobby Felder earlier mistime a jump and allowed a touchdown, but how important is it to have a young guy like that come back and then make a bigger play later on?
That just shows you his maturity and how he's grown. He was on our special team, or on our practice squad last year.
The field goal is good, so the game is tied at 13. About 4.5 minutes to go in quarter number 3. More with general manager Rick Spielman when we return. This is Vikings football. Final season at Mall of America Field begins this evening. It's Vikings football on the Vikings Entertainment Network. Hey, season tickets as well as individual game tickets are available right now, and they're going quickly. Get yours today by visiting Vikings.com/tickets. The next preseason game is against the Tennessee Titans, Thursday, August 29th. Home opener, Sunday, September 22nd. We'll take a peek at the schedule coming up a little later in the broadcast. Pete Persich, Paul Allen, Ben Lieber, and Greg Coleman are on the sidelines. And the game's tied at 13 with 4.5 minutes to go in quarter number 3. Here's Stephen Burton. He'll give it a try near side from about 7 deep in the end zone. He leaps over a coverage guy at the 10, gets to the 15, walks out of bounds at the 18. More with Vikings general manager Rick Spielman coming up next. Game tied at 13 in the third quarter on the Minnesota Vikings Entertainment Network. This is Minnesota Vikings football on the Vikings Entertainment Network. Game tied at 13, about 4:22 to go in the third quarter. Pete Persich, Vikings general manager Rick Spielman, and I'm Paul Allen. Down there, Ben Lieber and Greg Coleman on the sidelines. And the Vikings have the ball with McLeod, Bethel Thompson as the quarterback. Now, we talked about Christian Ponder and Matt Castle. We have seen many interesting things through the first 2.5 quarters of the first preseason game, Pete.
No question about it. And a lot of the themes, and you look at the number 3 quarterback, but you're looking at Christian Ponder and Matt Castle. That's the number one thing. I think the number one question coming into the season for the fans, other than asking me to touch your hair, is the performance of Christian Ponder.
Yeah, we're very excited about what he's done in preseason.
General manager's Mike Dad. Like I was saying, yes, we count on big things this year from Christian Ponder. There you go. No, I think here's the deal. Why don't you take my headphones? And then since Pete played and coached in the NFL.
Are we going to fight over who gets them?
You coached and played in the NFL. You've told me for years you know more about the game than me. There he is.
I'm back on.
Here he is. You can't silence the general manager of the Minnesota Vikings when we only have 3.5 minutes left with him. And this is it until the fourth preseason game, because, of course, he won't come up here during preseason games 2 and 3. Those are major preseason games.
Now, if we were either in Seattle or the NFC Championship game at the Meadowlands, I would say conspiracy. Someone's trying to shut him up.
Yeah. Anybody seen Jim Fossil around here? It is 3rd and 2 for the Vikings. Bethel Thompson out of the shotgun. Game tied at 13. Fires to the right. Caught Joe Webb. Good catch by Joe, Rick, because McLeod threw it behind him.
Yeah, that was a nice adjust, and Joe made a nice catch there on the play before. Does a great job because of his size and the size of his hands, can use his body to shield the defender away from the ball.
Right, you see him, like you said, make a nice play with his hands. Just tell the people at home watching at home, how difficult of a transition is it to not only play quarterback in the NFL, but then go to wide receiver. It's something that only a handful of people I've ever seen do.
And Joe is such a unique athlete that he's one of the very few that can make that transition because of the skill set it takes at each position, especially at the quarterback. But when you go from quarterback to receiver, to learn the nuances of that game and the nuances of that position, it does take time, but Joe's worked extremely hard to do that.
You just had an incomplete pass. It's not replay worthy, but the highlight of that play, and I'm sure you saw it because you see everything.
Blitz pickup off the edge.
By Randall.
Yes.
What an unbelievably good blitz pickup by a backup who's a long shot to make the team, but he's paying attention.
And that kid
now
right
he gets
there,
the ball.
He's 5'7", about 200 pounds, and maybe pound for pound, one of the toughest kids we've had through camp here in a while.
Okay, per the agreement to have you on the Vikings Entertainment Network, you told us that you would divulge exactly how many receivers you're going to keep on the team this year.
Enough to get us to win games.
Does that mean 5 or 6?
That depends.
We're trying to put this numbers count thing together, and it's tough. I mean, for sure, we know, nothing's for sure, but Jennings, Jarius Wright, Jerome Simpson, Cordero Patterson. You got those 4 right there, and there goes McLeod, Baltazar, John, Bethel Thompson sprinting for a first down, game tied at 13. Safe to say those 4 are in the mix, correct?
I would say those 4 are pretty solidified.
Okay, so now when you get down to the Burtons and the Webbs and the Mankato guys and the rest of the guys competing, do you balance that with how many linebackers, DBs, or offensive linemen you'll keep? How do you handle that?
That's all part of the process. It comes down to a numbers game. Do you keep 8 offensive linemen versus 7 linebackers versus 10 or 11 DBs? A lot of that times that'll come down to special teams play. Sometimes we'll keep a guy because he may not be ready week 1, but if we expose him on that waiver wire, he could potentially get claimed, and we don't want to lose that player. So there are a lot of, like I said, very tough decisions.
Yeah.
But not only are you making decisions to win week 1, but you're making decisions that hopefully those young guys will help during the season and also into the future.
And the fun part of those conversations is when you're sitting there with the offensive coordinator, the defensive coordinator, and they want to keep more than just 25 guys.
Oh, yeah.
Keep 26, 27 if they can.
Don't forget to throw in a special teams coach.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it'll be a fun day tomorrow because we'll get a chance to evaluate all these guys on the tape, see who really stuck out, and some of the things you don't see right now, especially that interior of that offensive and defensive line.
Take a look at Joe Webb here. A couple of plays ago, Joe Webb checking back into the game as a wide receiver. Look at your guy get physical here. Bam!
That's one thing that our receivers have to do, and it's emphasized by George Stewart, Bill Musgrave, is block downfield, because when you have a back like number 28 running, a lot of his key long runs are because of the effort the receivers give, just like Joe Webb did right there.
So how has a guy like Greg Jennings responded to that?
Yeah.
You know, he's done an outstanding job.
Come on, McLeod.
A couple times you've seen earlier in the first quarter, I saw 84 and 11 go down and crack on a toss. And just to see, okay, you didn't have to do this in college because you were a spread out type offense. But up here and with the Minnesota Vikings, you're going to have to go down and crack on linebackers legally because of the type of run game that we do have.
Rick, this is exciting for the hardcore types right here, because Jeff Locke, your rookie punter from UCLA, with all those touchbacks last year for UCLA and all those punts inside the 20, his first 2 punts have been the Aussie rules end-over-end bits that have pinned the Texans, not inside the 20, but inside the 10. Now he's going to let this fly from about the 30-yard line. What do you expect here?
Oh, I expect it to go very well.
There it is. It's high, but it's returnable. That's okay, right?
Yeah, it was a good hang time. We have to get our coverage team down there a little farther.
Yeah. Can we get Leffler to slow him down a little bit?
We'll conclude things with General Manager Rick Spielman shortly. Game tied at 13 deep in the third quarter. This is Vikings football. It's Mall of America Field. It's Vikings football on the Vikings Entertainment Network. The game's tied at 13 deep in the third quarter. Rick Spielman, general manager for the Vikings, with us. There's Greg Jennings, your prized acquisition this offseason.
Yeah, very excited to add him to the mix. Brings that veteran presence. Been healthy all training camp and knock on wood from where he was last year. And very excited what he's going to bring to our offense.
Handoff from Case Keenum goes to the back, who has stood up behind the line of scrimmage. And that'll be a tackle for loss. That is Gerald Hodges, the converted safety from Penn State. So much for the run defense being a little slow to acclimate.
And that's the one thing, when we evaluated him, most of the time he was out. A few games, and one in particular was against Wisconsin, that he was actually stacked behind the defensive line, where you've seen him shine a little bit. But he's getting adjusted to it. He's learning how to use his hands. You have to attack these lead blockers downhill, get off the block, and locate the ball.
Yeah.
So there's no question about the instincts, and he's really doing a great job learning how to use his hands, get off blocks, and find that ball.
We just got word from the TV affiliate that the ratings have spiked during quarter 3. We need you to stay for the 4th. Is that okay? Rick Spielman sticks around. Game tied at 13 on the Vikings Entertainment Network.
Vikings preseason football is presented by Miller Lite. It's not just a good time, it's Miller time. By Verizon, America's largest 4G LTE network. By Nissan, save on select models at choosenissan.com. And by U.S. Bank, all of us serving you.
Pete Bursich, Paul Allen, Ben Lieber, and Greg Coleman on the sidelines, and Case Keenum swinging the ball out to the right, caught at the 25, speeding up to the 40-yard line is Woods, the rookie running back from Notre Dame. Game's tied at 13, and Minnesota Vikings general manager Rick Spielman kind enough to join us for the second half in the broadcast booth. I want to go back to Greg Jennings. With what he did for the Green Bay Packers, he obviously brings a certain degree of experience to the Minnesota Vikings. Let's go to Pete first. What type of experience, Pete, do you think he brings to the quarterback, Christian Ponder?
Again, it's the rapport that you're going to get, and for him to let Christian Ponder know exactly when am I getting the look that I want to do and run the slant, when do we want to go on the hot route. when you're in trouble and you're scrambling down the field, don't be afraid to throw me the ball. Just put it in a specific spot. And then again, to build on that too, you look exactly who's sitting next to him, and that's what you like to see. Is Cordero Patterson sitting right next to him, and they have the two, Jennings and Patterson, talking, going over things. And they're talking about tonight what they're going to do later, I'm sure. But at some point, they're going to discuss the game. And whenever a Jennings gets a chance to see a rookie come out there and make some plays, he's going to get excited too.
Here's Keenum going back to pass. Man wide open over the middle. It's caught at the 35-yard line. And down at the 32-yard line, touchdown by Bobby Felder, is Ryan Griffin, a rookie tight end from Connecticut. Back to Greg Jennings for Rick. Go ahead, Pete.
I was going to say, when you bring in a guy like Greg Jennings, you're obviously bringing in a phenomenal athlete, proven receiver. How much does the personality get brought into this? Because, you look at kind of what's happened during the week. I think if you listen to how Greg said it, you know that he was speaking in a kind way. But if you see it on print with his comments about Green Bay and being brainwashed, does that how much of that goes into finding a guy and bringing him in, or is that a concern?
No, Greg Jennings is the most humble receiver I've ever been around, or humble football player. And sometimes, as you know, media can sometimes misconstrue what you're saying and twist it the wrong way. But extremely hard worker, very humble personality, just goes out there, is taking a leadership role down there, but more in a quiet, tight manner, and just wants to go out there and win football games and do his part to help us do that.
Greg Jennings, a Super Bowl winner with the Green Bay Packers. Last year missed some time due to injury, ended up playing in 8 games, averaged 10.5 yards per reception as Keenum fires right, caught at the 15 in a game tied at 13. We'll pause from the general manager momentarily, and one of the best tacklers in the NFL, linebacker Chad Greenway, is with his former teammate Ben Lieber.
Yeah, we got Chad here, and this year we're doing something different. We're asking the fans on social media and Twitter to ask some of our players some questions. So, first of all, thank you all for joining in, but we can only pick one. So we got Jonathan. Jonathan asks, who's the biggest prankster on the team?
That's a good question. We have a lot of them. A lot of guys who think they're funny. A lot of guys who are funny. I would say the biggest prankster would probably be Fred Evans, D-tackle Fred Evans. Always got jokes. Always got something going on with somebody. He's also the lead guy with handshakes. Got a handshake with everybody. So, but he's probably the biggest prankster too.
I think that's surprising to a lot of people, because I think most people think either you or Jared Allen, but you got to go with Fred Evans, the very well accomplished swimmer that he is.
Yeah, extremely good swimmer. Started in high school. One time did 100 pull-ups straight, he says. So a lot of debatable things with Fred's stories, but good storyteller.
Real quickly, I wanted to ask you about this last series down here. We saw Michael Motti make a big play on the goal line. What's your impression of him, the young guy out of Penn State? Great story. Good to see him out there. How do you feel about Mike Motti?
Yeah, great kid. Obviously working really hard to get better and improve. Great play down here. He was really excited guy to get his first action in the NFL, and he belongs here. He's a good guy, good player.
All right, thanks a lot, Chad. PA, back to you.
Thank you. Deji Kareem, a backup running back, the 4th running back used by the Texans, sprints inside the 5, where he is tackled by backup safety Brandon Bishop, an undrafted rookie from NC State. Game's tied at 13. It'll be 1st and goal for the Texans from the Vikings 2-yard line.
You look at a guy like Mike Motti, and I think that despite the 3 ACL injuries, this game for linebackers is usually played up pretty high, but I think we're seeing that the defensive linemen, They're not used to these offensive linemen coming at their legs, and they're getting a bit of a lesson right now.
No, especially in this zone scheme that Houston Texans run, guys are getting cut, and we don't cut during practice, so this is the first time in a real game that they're actually getting thrown at their legs, and they need to do a better job using their hands to clear those blocks.
Touchdown Texans. They take a 19-13 lead. It was a nifty little bootleg. Looked like Bobby Felder. I think it was Bobby Felder. Had that thing sniffed out. Did he do the right thing there by hesitating between the quarterback and the receiver?
Well, it's either got to make a decision, and I don't know what the defensive call was. If it's man or you're coming off the edge, you either come or you drop off into coverage into that flat, but you can't get stuck in between doing one and the other. Once you make your mind up, go.
Extra point is good. The Texans take a 20-13 lead. 10.5 minutes to go in the first preseason game. More with the general manager when we return to the Minnesota Vikings Entertainment Network. It's Minnesota Vikings football from All of America Field on the Vikings Entertainment Network. 20-13 Texans. The Vikings and other NFL teams have a bag policy into this season. You can learn more via NFL.com/all-clear. Those of you thinking of bringing bags or purses to Mall of America Field or other select National Football League destinations, we strongly encourage you to learn more via NFL.com/all-clear. Vikes General Manager Rick Spielman is with us. We'll continue to analyze after this. Welcome back to Vikings football on the Vikings Entertainment Network. Let's take a peek at the Vikings schedule. We call it the Arby's Look Ahead, presented by Arby's, slicing up freshness. Stop by your local Arby's and try the Grand Turkey Club. 20-13 Texans. Rick Spielman, the general manager, in the booth with us. Pete Bursich, Paul Allen. We start at Detroit, then you go to at Soldier Field. A couple of toughies to start there, Rick.
Yeah, to go on the road against two division opponents that are very good football teams. That'll give us a true test right out of the gate.
James Vandenberg, the fourth quarterback used this evening, the undrafted kid from Iowa. He's in at quarterback now. Let's take a peek back at that schedule. Home opener against Cleveland. Then the London game against Pittsburgh. Bye after that. You come home to play Carolina. That home opener against Cleveland, I know you think that there are no freebies in the NFL, and there aren't. If you scratch below the surface with these Cleveland Browns, I bet you this is a sneaky, tough team this year. They added Paul Kruger. That's a good home opener, don't you think?
Yeah, they've done a nice job adding to their personnel. Brandon Whedon's going to be in his second year as a quarterback. They got a great running back, so yeah, there's no freebies here in the NFL. You're going to get tested every week.
Oh, Vandenberg sacked back at the 13 with 9.5 minutes to go in the game. James Vandenberg. Let's talk about Kyle Rudolph. 9 touchdowns last year. In his rookie year, when you got him from Notre Dame, he battled some injuries during his rookie year. He was a different guy last year, wasn't he?
And he's even improved going into this year and what we've seen so far in training camp. He's added about 6 or 7 pounds to his frame. He's almost weighing 270 pounds right now, but he's less body fat than he was a year ago.
Here comes Vandenberg firing to Highsmith, an undrafted rookie from North Carolina, on a slant, hit at the 20 and stopped at the 20, gain of 6.
So just like you, he's increased the body weight but lowered the
body fat. That's the objective.
One of the things I know with Kyle Rudolph, obviously he's a phenomenal route runner, pass catcher. It's the run blocking side of the equation, and in talking to him wanting to be a more all-around style of tight end in a league where, let's face it, you've got your blockers and you've got your receivers.
And that's rare to find tight ends that can do both and be very effective at both. And I attribute a lot to what he did last year with our run game, not only for our offensive line, but what he was able to do at the point, because a lot of time he is on the same side as the offensive line.
More with Rick Spielman when we return to Mall of America Field. Texans lead the Vikings by 7 on the Minnesota Vikings Entertainment Network. Minnesota Vikings football courtesy of the Vikings Entertainment Network. Texans leading by 7, 8.5 minutes to go in the game. Congratulations to former Vikings great Joey Browner. He is the 21st member of the Vikings Ring of Honor. Halftime of the Vikings-Packers game Sunday, October 27th is when that will be celebrated. We're going to hear from the game-changing safety coming up here shortly. Man in motion to the left, 2 receivers left, 1 right. Keenum on a play action, dump right, caught. And he turns it up to the 40, 35, flag on the play. Let's head down to Greg Coleman, who is with the aforementioned Joey Browner.
Joey, being named into the Ring of Honor, I mean, I had the opportunity to play with you. What does this honor mean to you?
I'm still alive, able to accept it, but it's the pinnacle of what my playing career has developed into, and to have that opportunity to be put in the Ring of Honor with the greats that are already there is just a lot of prayers and a lot of blessings that came true.
Joey, you came into this building back in 1983. What was your fondest memory besides covering punts with me, for me? But what was your fondest memory in the Dome?
That my mother was able to come here and see me play here, and also to see my brothers play here against them here. So that's my most fondest memory of being here.
Joey, congratulations, my friend.
Oh, thank you so much, Greg.
Paul, back to you and Pete.
Good job, Greg. Rick Spielman up here in the studio, up here in the booth with us with 7:50 and counting to go in the game. Texans lead 20-13. We talked about Kyle Rudolph. Let's stick with former Golden Domer, fellow Golden Domer, Harrison Smith. Second on your team last year in tackles with like 129. Had a couple of defensive touchdowns too. What do you expect from the guy we see there, Harrison Smith, in his second year, Rick?
Just to build off where he was last year, and I think you've seen his game change about after the third or fourth game. Getting more comfortable with the defense, being able to be that quarterback there to make the adjustments. There's no question about his toughness and some of the hits that he does put on receivers coming across the middle. But the one thing that we saw his junior year that you didn't see so much his senior year was his ball instincts and awareness, and had 2 nice picks last year that he returned for touchdowns, and that's just as carried over from what he did last year into this preseason so far.
And hopefully he can become one of the great safeties in the history of this storied organization, like Joey Browner.
If he can play like Joey Browner, we're going to be okay.
Take a peek at some Joey Browner footage here momentarily. It's 3rd and 2 from the 34, and here's a handoff and a first down for the Texans. Let's take a look at some old school football featuring number 47, Joey Browner. What do you guys remember about him?
Now, I mean, just a big physical safety, and again, with you take a look at him even today, standing next to Greg Coleman. He just a big man and a very good athlete. And once again, you find safeties, a safety that can hit, a safety that can come down in the box, play inside, but then a safety that can also intercept the ball. Great ball skills is a rarity. It's usually these guys, these corners and safeties, are wide receivers that can't catch as kids, and they move them over to defense. But Joey Browner was such an all-around player. You just, and a good man too. And you hear him talk, and the humbleness that comes across all those guys that played back in the Bud Grant days. And
not only what he did on the field for the Minnesota Vikings, but what he does out in the community, and being that all-around Minnesota Viking, what we try to instill in our players, if they can be the type that Joey Browner is, that's very unique.
We have Jared Allen coming up shortly with his former teammate Ben Lieber and a Twitter question. You can learn more about that going to #AskBen. 5:25 and counting to go in the game. Texans threatening with a 7-point lead, first preseason game. Mall of America Field as Keenum dumps right. And it's caught at the 10-yard line. Ball pops out. Vikings have turned over the Texans, or have they? No. The back judge says that the receiver was down. We'll let them sort that out. Meanwhile, let's go to Ben Lieber. Ben?
All right, thanks, guys. We got Jared Allen down here, and then we've got the second Twitter question. So Sean asks, did you get any hunting done this offseason?
That's a negative, Ghost Rider. I had shoulder surgery and knee surgery, so I was laid up for most of the offseason. It's all been about recovering and rehabbing those injuries.
Nothing. Did you get any fishing done?
I did do some fishing. When I was up here for some OTA stuff, I caught some northerns over in the Minnesota River, so that was fun.
You're boring, man.
I really am. You know what? I just hang out with the family and get ready for football. I'm a meat stick.
All right, on the so this is Alan Williams' second year in the defense. What's different from the last year to this year?
I think just his ease, and I think he's more comfortable with the players. You know what I'm saying? And so, now that we have a year under each other's belt, both sides, everybody kind of knows what to expect, and so we can move forward.
Well, look forward to much improved defense. Good luck to you, man.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Ben. Thanks, Jarrett. The Texans scored a touchdown and have opened up a 13-point lead. Boom, make it 14. A rushing touchdown by the Texans. They lead 27-13, 4.5 minutes to go in the game on the Minnesota Vikings Entertainment Network. Minnesota Vikings football on the Vikings Entertainment Network. Adversary leads by 14 deep in the game. The Vikings weekly television pregame show is Vikings Game Plan every Sunday on KARE 11. It is absolutely a privilege to have a partnership with the well-respected television network KARE 11, home for all Minnesota Vikings preseason activity. You will not get the simulcast for one of them, but nevertheless it still will be on KARE 11. That is the third game at San Francisco. It's a Sunday night football presentation. On behalf of all of us with the Minnesota Vikings, we thank KARE 11 for the partnership. Down 14, here come the Minnesota Vikings, and we continue our conversation with General Manager Rick Spielman. Now, seriously speaking, I mean, we joke around a lot. We're talking about depth. You see Adrian Peterson there. This would be a different game if he was playing. Seriously speaking, what's your take as general manager when a game becomes as sloppy as it has become over really the last half quarter? Now, I know you're looking at 3s and 4s here, but the Vikings have become quite sloppy at this stage.
The biggest thing, and I'm just sitting here talking with Pete during the break, is they're running a press play to the left, and then they're just booting to the right the next play. And we're staying in a base cover 2 package. But some of those guys are getting sucked so much because they're having such a success running the ball that they're getting sucked in on a play action when they're running the boot passes.
And that's really, and those kinds of things are what these guys need to learn. I mean, yeah, it's simple football, but it's
Holding.
concepts.
Number 73 offense. 10-yard penalty, still first down.
Holding on DeMarcus Love.
And it's those concepts that'll take them to the next level. And the awareness, and that's one of the challenges of coaches, and that's why as a coach you love a guy, let's just say, like a linebacker, like an Aaron Henderson, or someone who, when you talk to him, he's going 100 miles an hour. They absorb things, they respond, and they go out there and they could take what you tell them on the sideline, because let's face it, there's a lot of adjustments that need to be made in the regular season and take them out on the field. How do you,
and that's kind of the difference that's going on right now. A lot of the stuff that they're having success with, you're going to make those adjustments on the sideline during the game. Right now with these young guys and a lot of these guys in the game, you're going to just keep it as basic as you can and just see if they can go out there and function. And if they can't, we'll find that out pretty well watching tape tomorrow.
We have Rick down to the 2-minute warning. Let's fly through a couple of talkers. Xavier Rhodes, the second of 3 first-round picks, did not play this evening. A, why didn't he play? And B, what do you think of him off training camp?
Yeah, he was nursing a little bit of a hamstring. We didn't want to risk him going out there and playing tonight and totally pulling that, because if you pull a hamstring, that could lead up to a 3 or 4 even longer week injury. So just being very cautious with him. He's had an outstanding camp so far. He's so big and physical when he presses at the line of scrimmage that it really disrupts the timing of the routes and the receivers getting off upfield. And with that route timing with the quarterback, just having those long arms and really can disrupt things.
Secondly, he's not in the game now. Jarius Wright, the second-year guy from Arkansas. Physically speaking, mentally, just from a leadership standpoint, he seems to be a completely different guy than he was last year.
Well, again, it's a rookie that's going into his second year that's kind of figured this out.
Yeah.
And he's taken a leadership role on this football team. We're very young at that position. But his skill set, and I think the confidence that he built in himself, making some key plays down the stretch for us last year when he had to come in and play in a slot, really catapulted him into this year and where he's at right now.
Last one, Pete, you get it.
Well, I was going to say, you're putting together a great group. What is the number one factor that keeps guys around?
Contracts.
You've seen a lot of guys.
Nice pump by Locke.
There you go. I mean, that's one thing. But if you keep a guy or cut a guy, you've seen so many guys come and go. What is the one thing you think, the main thing that keeps guys around?
It's how they're progressing as a player. Are they learning the system? Are they continuing to get better? Because if they're not, it's our job to go out there and find someone who is better than them and try to replace them with a better football player.
Could you cut this roster down to 53 right now if you had to?
No. There's still too many battles going on. It's been a very competitive training camp, especially in the bottom end of that roster.
Yeah.
And a lot of that will be determined as we get through this preseason. But I know the next time I'll be on in that we're going to have 15 of these guys off the roster by then, because of the 75-man cut will be coming up here shortly.
Will we see Adrian Peterson at any point this preseason, and do we need to?
I don't know how much he has to prove, but I know the coaches will figure out what he needs work-wise in the preseason games, but he does get a lot of work in practice.
Thank you very much for stopping by.
Thanks for having me on.
Rick Spielman, general manager for the Minnesota Vikings, spending an extensive amount of time with us here with the Vikings Entertainment Network and the Vikings Radio Network. The Houston Texans lead 27-13. 2 minutes to go in the first preseason game, and you're watching and listening to it on the Minnesota Vikings Entertainment Network. It's Minnesota Vikings football courtesy of the Vikings Entertainment Network. Linebacker Mike Motti has been wired for sound this evening. Here's some more.
Go get it, Zach. Oh, boy, Zach. Yeah. Go get it, Zach. Go get it, Zach. Go, yeah. 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 Woo-hoo-hoo. Yeah. White boy. White boy. Yeah. There it is. There it is. And roughing the P.
Mike Motti, check out Wired Players all year long by visiting Vikings.com, your source for everything purple. Greg Coleman and Ben Lieber, a couple of former Vikings, join us from the sidelines now. Greg, let's begin with you. The Texans lead 27-13. What were some of your Vikings-related highlights from this evening?
Well, obviously, Paul, I got to start with special teams. Bobby Felder did a great job, not only playing the majority of the second half, but playing on all of the special teams. I thought Jeff Locke did a pretty good job in his first stint as a holder for Blair Walsh. So far, so good.
And Ben?
Well, I'm going to kind of piggyback what Greg was saying, because I think special teams in the preseason is so very important. I think, seeing Jeff Locke out there kicking the way we heard about him kicking, Blair Walsh doing his thing. But I just really loved that part of the game, and also Andrew Zendejo. I mean, we talked about the safeties.
Yeah.
The guy was flying around like a missile from the safety position, also flying around special teams. So I liked the way our special teams battery played. I liked the way Zendejo showed up in a game where you're supposed to show up in situations like that.
Thanks, guys. Great work this evening, and we will chat with you on the flight to Buffalo, and we'll do the same thing in simulcast-like fashion next week. Good job. The Texans quarterback takes a knee here, and the Houston Texans will have defeated the Minnesota Vikings 27-13. Pete Bursich is looking at it as retribution from last year.
I'm sure they thought about it all offseason.
They thought about it all offseason, and they said, first preseason game, we're coming to Mall of America Field, and we are going to attempt to ruin their final season at Mall of America Field because of what the Vikings did to them in the penultimate game of the season last year.
Now, Paul, you take a look at tonight, and it didn't take long for Cordero Patterson to make an impact on that opening kickoff return, and then he only went on to catch 4 or 5 more passes, and the rapport between Castle and he just grew as the night went on, and we saw him running routes, catching balls. He had one deep route that he did drop, but
yeah,
here is a guy, Paul, that's going to make an impact this year, and you wondered how long it was going to take him. Some of the other rookies, Xavier's got to wait a little bit to get healthy.
Yep.
Sharif Floyd shows up, and he shows up with some big plays, tackle for loss, batted down ball. Those are the kinds of things that you want to see. That's why you brought him here, for that explosivity, if you will, and I think everyone's going to walk out of here talking about Burton and talking about Patterson. I think those are 2 very good receivers that had a good showing tonight.
We have some potential interviews with Ben Lieber coming up on the sideline shortly. We thank all of you with the Vikings Radio Network for joining us for the simulcast. Texans beat the Vikings 27-13. This is Vikings football.